And we're live. Hey, everybody. All the 0 people that are watching right now. I decided to just randomly do a stream because I flippin' feel like it. I don't know. Just wanted to put my thoughts out there into the ether or something. I don't know. How's everybody doing? I have had my first week off of school. And I tell you what, that is actually kind of a challenge because I started off really productive. I got the overlays done for SideQuest. I got a video done and a Midnight Brewery done, and I did some learning on After Effects and all kinds of new ideas for the future of the channel and stuff that I've started kind of learning how to do and stuff. And then it just kind of hit me. I don't have to ever go back to school again. So the weekend came and all my fans were happy. They got a video, they got a Midnight Brewery, and I just went, man, collapsed. I spent the entire weekend just like watching TV shows I could never catch up on because I was in school or playing fucking Skyrim or something, just killing some bandits, killing some time. And it was really fun to just like not have to worry about a fucking thing. Man, it was awesome. I was like, hell yeah. It's like, I ain't got no homework. Of course, I have the channel. It's my job now, but fuck, I guess I needed a weekend to myself. I don't really have an excuse. Kind of sucks to just come on live air in front of 20 people watching and go, I was really lazy this weekend. But there it is, Hell, I even kind of stayed off of Twitter. I was just like, I don't want nothing right now, man. I guess I was more exhausted from school than I thought I was. Because, like, as soon as it was over and the last test was done, I, like, hit the ground running. I worked on a video, and then I did a Midnight Brewery, and I wrote a script for this week, and then I watched tutorial videos on After Effects, and then I fucking started building the overlays for SideQuest, and that was like hours and hours in Photoshop to get all the little details. Animation ain't even done yet, but it's like looking great. And it's like maybe I should have. I was excited though, but maybe I should have taken a day or two to really let it sink in that school is no more and this is my life now. I need to get on a regular schedule and I need to make this a job. I need to treat it like a job or else I'll fail. So yeah, I just kind of crashed over the weekend and Monday because I had some errands to run and a eye doctor appointment on Monday, my yearly eye doctor appointment. There's nothing wrong with me. I get one every year. Ever since I got LASIK, if I go in every year, then if anything does happen with my laser surgery, they'll fix it for free as long as I maintain my appointments. So let's see who's in the chat. Hey dude's in the chat. What's up, hey dude? Melissa Rapp. Nathan. Jackal 454. I'm 36 and just finished my Bachelor of Communications. Should have done that years ago, but needed it for my career. I hear that, man. I hear that. Honestly, there is absolutely no point to this stream. I just wanted to talk out loud because I flippin' feel like it. So this really, I'll take questions or I'll hang out or whatever with somebody or something. I don't know. Let me restart this thing because it's stupid. There it is. Okay. Oh, I'm looking sexy up on the screen there, aren't I? Hey, dude, for $5, see if he can take care of that white eye problem that happens when you film. That's another reason why I'm not busy filming today. My contacts that I've been using for the past, I don't know, 8 months I think they've finally given in, because when I filmed the episode last week, they really hurt my eyes. So I'm guessing need to order new ones. I'll film with them this week. I have a script lined up. I'll probably work on it tomorrow and Friday, so everybody has a nice Magog episode by the weekend. And then after that, I've got to order some new ones, definitely. Especially if when we start side quest, I got to stream with them in. That's a solid hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how long side quest goes this round, this season, of wearing them fucking things. So, hey, Parody Sin, what's up? How you doing? John Dufresne is in the chat. Let me wrench Parody Sin. I like to wrench people. Anyway, I've also had ideas where, maybe Magog live stream should also still be for Magog. That's why I've been unlisting these little behind the scenes Beyond Magog ones after like a couple days, so that any newcomers that come by don't think I'm just using this as just a behind the scenes thing, because the live stream channel will be where side quest eventually settles. So I thought about starting an all new channel that's just like the show for Jeremy, get a guest on, do it like a podcast, just for fun. I don't even care if that one gets a lot of audience members or makes money or anything like that. I really feel cathartic when I get on and talk to people and stuff. Who Flung Poo is in the chat, $2. I see poor man's Magog is in charge tonight. Yes, I was just talking about that. I don't know. I when I move to the new studio, when it's built, I'm going to have room for multiple sets. And I was thinking about maybe just one small corner, a more modern setup for just streams that I can do as me, and call it, I don't know, Jeremy's happy hour or something. I don't know. Fuck. Could do like a sensual ear massage with Jeremy. Free Press is in the chat. What's up, Free Press? I always liked Behind Magog. Yeah. Oh, hey, remember when I told you about my Pornhub BS? Found a site that will take my content. Good for you, Parody Sin. Good that you have found a proper site that you can properly show whores and nudity and sex. Yeah. So, hey, Thexor the Bearded. What's up? Buzz of the Hive is on. What's up, Buzz? Pound the like button, people. Buzz is always there to like all my tweets and make sure everybody behaves in the stream and all kinds of stuff. Like I said, this really has absolutely no point, this stream. Honestly, surprised there's this many people watching. Maybe I should have had a plan, but I was in one of those mindsets where I'm like, I've been cooped up in my one-bedroom apartment since I got out of school. I no longer have to leave except for like food and to go visit family because I have no social life. So after like days of, making videos and writing scripts and finding videos, that's the worst part of the job right there, is trying to find something to do videos on. I've got like 5 videos downloaded and I know I can write scripts for them all, but I'm like, fuck, these are so cringy to sit through. Like it's actually a migraine inducing process. Like I love making videos. I love playing the character. I love doing these live streams and stuff. But when it comes to actually like sitting through one of these like SJW, feminist, social justice, fucking videos, or some of them I've gone deep down the rabbit hole, man. I fucking, oh Jesus, I don't even like, because I've been wanting to get Magog away from all that all the time. Like, I know that's what my fans love, and I'm still going to do them. But there's other cringy, like, cult ideologies out there besides SJWs, right? To make fun of. So I've watched videos on like people who think they're really vampires and they drink their girlfriend's blood and shit every Friday night, and just I went down the fucking rabbit hole. Hey, Wizard Cos, what's up, buddy? Long time no see. It's been a while since you and I have just had a chatty chat. You know, I'd ask you what you're doing, but probably drunk. Brockus is in the chat too. What's up, Brockus? Brockus, I command that you have a fight with John Dufresne. I don't know why. Just want to see if it'll happen. Watching Attack on Titan. Well, at least you're spending your time wisely. That's a good show. Good Omen gives $5 in the chat. Please, 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 more Magog bears arms. This vid is how I got you more subs. Oh, thank you. Was that you? I noticed that. That was really weird. I put up a brand new video Thursday, and literally the day after I gained like 600 subs, and I'm like, it wasn't a collab. Did I hit like the algorithm just right, or like what? You know, I have no fucking idea. Oh man. I don't know how to do more Magog Bears Arms. That was a one-off kind of comedy sketch where it's like, compare medieval weapons to modern weapons and see what the guy in the medieval realm has to say. How do I do that again? You know, like all those jokes were written. Like, it was a great episode. It was my second episode of all time. I really don't know what else I could write from that perspective. I mean, it really was just kind of a comedy sketch. I suppose if I come up with some new jokes, I don't know, you know, maybe sometime. I'd like to get back on track of Magog reacting to like all the shit in our world, not just the SJW stuff, but the SJW stuff is what the bulk of my fans seem to like. They want me making fun of these gender ideologues and things like that. Some of my more hardcore fans don't care what I do videos on. They just really like to see Magog be funny. And that's why I want to build towards the sitcom so that people can kind of start seeing that the comedy can go a different place. That shit was funny, Melissa. What are you guys talking about? Magog, the hardcore fans are the ones who matter most. I agree with that, but at the same time, I also do like views, you know, and it's not like my hardcore fans don't like the SJW videos. They like it all. So don't get me wrong. The hardcore fans are going to get rewarded here this summer because I also, now that I have time on my hands and no school, I'm definitely going to be working on those lore videos, you know, so you guys can actually know more about the world. So, you know, they're going to be probably like story time with Magog, but I wanted to wait to do those, not just to do some really cool artwork for them, but I really want to wait until the new studio is built so I can have like a little set for those videos of like a chair next to a fireplace with like medieval fantasy realm decorations so that Magog can do that kind of cheesy, like sitting by the fire with a big book in his lap. And he's like, hello, everybody. Welcome to story time with Magog. You know. Wizard Cost says, I like growth too, but I'll take real fans over fad fans any day. I'm down 5K subs since the faggotry of last year and the growth of the cringe core shit. But my real audience just doubled down. Good for you, man. I mean, you gotta know who really loves you. All right. I see the bitching witch is in the chat. That's hard to say in a row. Bitching witch. If it was just the bitch witch, That'd be a lot easier to say, but I have to say like the bitching witch. It's like it breaks the cadence. So I'm just going to call you the bitch witch now. I'm just going to call you the bitch witch. I hope I didn't just start a thing. Sorry. Magog reacts to child drag queens. That is an abused child. Actually, that's one of the videos I downloaded this week. One of the videos I downloaded was that trans kid that's like 8 years old, and he's just absolutely sure that he wants to be a drag queen the rest of his life and be fabulous and all that stuff. And it's just like, I wrote a lot of jokes for that. That might be my next video, because I have another video I really want to do because it's over more like cringy California version of Wicca. You know, I found another one of those videos, but there's a joke in it that I absolutely have to do, but I didn't have the right prop. So I had to order a prop on Amazon just to do one fucking joke. I just imagine Magog broken going, "That's a boy. That's a boy." Good parody, son. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's some stuff right there. So yeah. So I guess I'll just talk some more to the people. Hello. Yeah, I don't know, like it's been forever since I talked to Nick. Do you want to come on, Nick, or you hell bent on watching anime? That's up to you, buddy. I'm just doing a bullshit stream here. Just doing a bullshit stream, but I've been promising to catch up with you. I know there's a lot of people in the chat are like, I never get invited. You always invite somebody else. I'm going in order of promises. Okay? Like when I was in school, I could barely like maintain a presence on the internet. And anytime I did a Beyond Magog, it was literally a backlog of promises that I've meant to keep. So there's a lot of people who are like, I haven't come on in forever. Like, there's probably other people before you. And me and Nick have been talking for like, I don't know, 8 months. And sometimes he hits me up and is like, you want to do Saints tonight? And I'm like, no, it's Sunday. I've got homework and school tomorrow. You know, like you always hit me up an hour before I'm about to go to bed, you know, like, but now I'm free, you know? So if, and I'm perfectly happy to do the Saints again in full costume and character, or come on as myself. I don't think we've done that. I've been on the Saints twice as Magog. I've never done the Saints as me, kind of a behind the scenes kind of interview or something. So I could do that one day. But if you want to catch up, Nick, I know I hopped into your Patreon stream for like 10 minutes the other day, but I really couldn't get much of a word in edgewise. Everybody was talking, you know, that's what Patreon streams are. And I didn't want to take over your channel. Side quest still going with Beardy's problems. Beardy's working his stuff out, and side quest wasn't going to happen until June anyway. So hopefully by the time June rolls around, he'll be ready. I think he's really worked some stuff out. I'm not going to give any details because it's not my place, but let's just say the dire straits he found himself in again the other day seems to be working its way out. I'm gonna type. Hey, everybody. I didn't realize it was this close. Can you see like the pores in my skin? Not on that shitty camera. Click the thing. Copy. My keyboard's way over here. I really gotta get a new setup for these just out of character streams. The evil eye. I'm watching you. The fuck? That's like my evil redneck eye. What's up? You want something? I would never be able to get that close to the camera as Magog because you guys would see the little holes in the fucking contact lenses.
There we go. You get any echo on that?
Nope. I hear you just fine there, buddy.
Oh, I'm just gonna turn the volume down a bit anyway. There we go. Yeah, I had no idea fucking season 2 had dropped. No one told me. I figured it would be a big thing. Turns out it happened last year.
Yeah, it's been out for a while now. I've only seen like half the season though because I got wrapped up in school and couldn't do shit.
So, yeah, the whole wrapped up in school kind of fucked you out of a lot of things, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's over now. You're free.
Yeah, free by choice now. I did not graduate. I want to make that absolutely clear. If I continued to go to school full time, I would still have 3 years left for my bachelor's. But I got my associates, and I'm two semesters into my bachelor's, and I was like, "Fuck this." Mostly because my GI Bill is done. Like you only have a certain amount of months.
Yeah,
they give you like 48 months or 38 months, something like that. And
one of the things. I mean, I know some people manage to go to like, better schools and such, but the majority of like GI Bill recipients I'd seen usually ended up at like the same kind of shit college I went to, which is like, oh, this is affordable community level Kaplan school. Hey, do you remember junior high? Yeah, it's kind of like that, except you drive yourself in this time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Still, though, I mean, I mean, from my part, I like the fact that I got a degree in criminal justice, and then got arrested a whole bunch. So,
did you think when you went to get a degree in criminal justice, did you think they were going to teach you how to be a better criminal?
Oh no, they definitely did. They definitely did.
I just imagine Nick sitting there with like a joint going, I'm going to get a degree in criminal justice. So
I didn't want to do, no, the degree wasn't a plan. Like the plan was get a few classes in like basic investigation techniques, because I was going to go into the, here in New Hampshire at the time, it was one license, and you could do PI work, you could do bail enforcement, and you can do in property recovery, asset recovery. And so I'm like, fuck yeah. I mean, just like, learn a little bit about this shit and get access to the, to all the resources so I can learn what genuine investigations are about. And then just basically go and sell those skills to whoever's bidding. And then it turns out like they kind of fucked the licensing here. So in order to get a license, you need to work under a license for 2 years before you can get your own license. And
right.
Whoa. Yeah, it was kind of a cronyistic thing because there was like 4 or 5 people in state who pretty much ran game. And I was like, hey, can I fucking work for you under your license, please? And then I even asked my own lawyers. I'm like, hey, can I just bill myself as a private investigator so I can get a license in a couple of years? I can't.
I hear you, man. I'm right there, man. The school is just like a feedback loop of like making money for itself. Reverend Satan asks about the GI Bill. He said, like, isn't it like $100,000? No, it's not that much.
No, you need to get a real degree.
No. It's more like 60,000. Unless you qualify for like a specialty field. Like the GI Bill will cover like medical school if you qualify, because they know how much doctors are needed. And if you served, they're like, fuck yeah, go be a doctor. It looks good. It costs more money for certain people that get into special schools, but it makes the military look good. Like, look at us making doctors for the world. All you gotta do is serve 4 years.
Yeah, I got a chance to go. I went to 2 very distinctly different schools. The first one, which I got the degree in because I just kept taking courses because I enjoyed the shit. And then after a year and a half, they're like, "You're about to have an associate's." Like, what? No, that wasn't the plan. How did that happen? God damn it! And they're like, "Would you like to continue on to a bachelor's?" Like, yes, I would, just not in this shitbag school. So when I got to the nice school, right, the nice expensive one, there weren't really any vets there. It was pretty much just rich Connecticut kids, and that was that. And it's
Right.
like, oh, okay, I see. So all the vets go to the Kaplan school, which for some reason ends up costing 40 grand for a fucking associate's degree that you can't do anything with anyway.
Right.
And oh yeah, no, they can't get into the real school though. That's for the kids who 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 stayed home and showed up in their nice little Mustang convertibles there. Oh, I'm sure you bought that with your Taco Bell money, didn't you, boy?
Yeah, what are you gonna do, man? All I know is that the GI Bill only pays, no matter how much money, they'll pay tuition up to a certain amount as long as you're in school, but it caps off at like 38 months. So when your 38 months is up, if you don't have a degree, you're done anyway. Then you can try to go get into the vocational program at the VA. But other than that, I mean, once they pay for 38 months of school, it doesn't matter how much it costs, as long as
Do you mind me asking what were you studying?
Graphics design.
Oh,
I'm already an artist, and since I was basically just getting paid to go to school, that was my job. I made that decision before I started this YouTube thing. Yeah. So I was like, I lost my job. Well, I didn't lose it. It's a complicated situation. I was the only person in the entire state of Arkansas that did that job. So I was driving everywhere, right? It was top rank security stuff for banks.
Yeah.
And it all came from this company that I work for, who's headquartered down in Texas. And it was pretty good pay, and I enjoyed it. And I got to make my own schedule. I got to call my customers up and be like, hey, I'm dropping by this week. When are you free? When can you open up the vault so I can count your shit? Like type of stuff. And everybody loved me. I was hot shit at it, just like I was in the Air Force. But then the company I worked for started losing contracts to competitors. Some competitors moved into the state and were like, we offer a better product and a better way of, securing, robbery situations and things like that. And it was just like, once I lost Metropolitan Bank as a contract, I knew this job was going into the bucket. So I quit.
I'll tell you this much. I mean, like I saw, because Beardy's going on hiatus while he sorts his shit out, and I spoke to them a bit about that. I genuinely think, and it's like, it's even like a genuine hope, but I think the kind of content that you do and the kind of shit that he's been doing, like, I want to see that become the actual future of fucking YouTube, because people used to make clever content. People used to make shit that, like, they had to put thought into. And when I was talking to, when I was saying in the chat there, I mean, by and large, I think the SJW party is pretty much over. And, there's always, when you see something fucking stupid, calling it stupid in public is always going to be fun. It's always going to be a thing. But, I mean, like, both of you have been really focused on more written comedy, like narrative comedy, sketches and shit.
Right.
And to see, like, over the last, I'd say, year to 6 months or so, just the whole rise of the streaming culture, where it's like, oh no, I don't make videos, I'm just gonna stream all the fucking time. That's my channel, that's my content. And I'm even starting to notice now people seem to be getting bored with even that. And I remember, did you ever see? There was a video, one kind of viral, Skyrim 2012.
No.
Oh, you'll love these guys. Go Bro Pros, I think they're called. The Grosjean brothers. They're out of Jersey, and the guys, they're really talented with CG, and they basically filmed a series of videos that was like Skyrim if it took place in Jersey in 2012.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was good fucking sketch comedy and shit. And we saw, like, that started dropping off more and more, and everyone's gone over to, like, streams or response videos and shit like that. And
I'm still doing response videos, but I'm doing them in my own kind of way, I guess. Like, it's a mix of response and sketch comedy.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really refreshing, but I now realize too that eventually this response video thing is not going to be the main thing. I mean, people are still going to do responses to stupid arguments. Well, that's never going to go away. But
I mean, well, I mean, shit. Fucking my last video was sort of in response to Mark Collette, who decided to like spurg out and say like, "Oh, the West is being attacked because a Broadway production of a Joan of Arc play cast a black actress."
yeah, I saw
Oh
that on
my
Twitter.
God, where's your God now, Western man?
Monday, Matt's in the chat. What's up, Matt? What's up, buddy? I thought you were streaming a $3 theater.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Matt got himself a strike. I guess it's funny too because I guess it was for an old video, so it's like we all have to like watch our asses go back, throw back a lot of
There's
content.
nothing you can do. Like, I'm really glad I started a live stream channel so that if I get a community strike on the main channel, it doesn't affect me. I don't live stream over there. I just upload anyway.
You know, it's the weirdest thing. I got caught up with the algorithm. Because I mean, I'm very, you know, just the way it works. Like, you know, you upload a video, the video's very much liked by your audience, and then you notice like you get this spike in unsubs, and then YouTube straight up is like, "Oh yes, we sometimes like to purge accounts," and then you get on Twitter and like, you get people like, "I was subscribed to you. What the fuck?"
Right.
Yeah, I mean that whole fucking that whole algorithm.
Dumping subs is a big thing. I've been seeing a lot of that. Like, I took a month break to finish school, and then I came back, did my video, and I gained 600 subs, which is weird. But I also had a lot of people commenting, "Holy fuck! I didn't even get an alert, and I saw it in a recommended, and they unsubscribed me." You know, like
yeah, I got a lot of that myself, and it's I mean with it, the weirdest thing is though with that what I've seen that other people are getting that I'm not getting is the demonetization.
right.
Like none of my shit, like I had 1 or 2 videos in the last few months that's been auto demonetized, and
That's because you don't cut other people's videos into your work. You just talk, and it's harder for the algorithm to.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, dude. Like,
I thought it was about controversial content.
It is, but controversial content has to be caught via the algorithm has to recognize certain keywords. So, like, and it's always been able to recognize like sound clips and music from other videos. So if you splice something in like a response video, like what I do, I get demonetized instantly every time.
Well, one of the strangest things I had happen was I got what was a manual strike, not even a strike, but just a copyright claim in the suicide video that I did because I featured, and I didn't even monetize the thing. Like I knew it wouldn't work, and I put like this 1.5-minute clip from the show The Blacklist in the end.
Right.
And I got hit, and I got hit with it, and it's like not eligible for monetization. It's been this has been claimed by was it Paramount or Universal? One of those two. I think it was Universal.
Yeah, one of the ones that own the show. Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing is though is that it wasn't a takedown. It was just that if this is monetized, all revenue will go here.
Yeah, it's shared monetization. I've had that happen a couple times. It's not a takedown.
Well, no, the surprising thing is that I tweeted at, I think it was Universal. I tweeted at them and said, like, thank you for not taking the video down because I feel like this video actually mattered, and it mattered to, and we both know a number of people it mattered to. And like a day after I tweeted that at them, the claim was manually withdrawn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? Really? Whoa, holy shit! A soulless corporate studio.
Somebody over there was paying attention, and they were like, "Oh."
So he's like, "Oh, that's a good video. That's good use of our property. You can have full monetization for yourself." And then the video, I didn't even monetize it. YouTube monetized it for me.
Matt says he just wrapped on $3 Theater, and he's about to do one of his like forensic mystery ones in about 10 minutes. So he dropped by just to steal my my audience. That's what he did. He was like, "Hey, everybody, come over to my channel in 10 minutes."
Matt, only Saints is allowed to do that. Fucking the time slot wars will rage until Sunday nights are owned.
I got into that for a little bit, man. Like Saturday nights, I was streaming with Medusa, and I was trying to time it to end when Ghastly and AP's Gulf City stream ended, and mine would begin.
So they
and
do
or
Saturdays.
I would end mine before theirs or something like that. One of those two.
Well, I thought they did. I thought they like just did, sort of randomish whenever they wanted streams. Oh shit, you froze. One of us froze. Who's frozen? Uh-oh. Did Magog's shit internet shit the bed again? Uh-oh. Oh, there you are. I didn't know who froze just then. You or me?
Probably me, because I have my camera on and the internet sucks.
Yeah, I've still got my camera mounted in the studio, which is just behind me, but it's like, yeah, no. Oh, fun thing. I'm actually running for office. Oh, it froze again.
Froze again?
There you go. No, and you're back. But none of this, like, you're delaying. It's weird.
Huh. I'm watching it on my end, and I don't know.
It might. I mean, shit. It might be. I mean, my shit's been acting weird and fucked up all day. But
It might be. It might be on my end too. I'm watching it. I'm waiting on your icon to disappear.
I was. It was funny. I was actually gonna do some game streaming today, and then a friend of mine who's a sitting state rep here with the Libertarian Party. Well, he's been pushing me to run, and today I was basically like, "Yeah, all right, fun, fuck it, yeah, I'll run for office. I'll be a state rep here in New Hampshire."
Yeah. You sure you want to do that with your internet out there? I mean,
oh no, that's the point. That's the point. Yeah, because I mean, it'll be one of those things. Like if I'm able to get elected. Because it's the same. What is it? What is there to actually fear? Yeah.
right.
I mean, people. Just being in the public scene and in a public profile, you get shit on all the time. I mean, fuck. I spent the last 6 months getting shit on by people I used to call friends simply because they found a profitable way to jump into a human centipede. So yeah. Fuck it. You know what? Why not step up the game and go from just being like a public personality who gets shit on to a proper fucking politician?
Right.
Because, well, we've got the most representative government in the world in the state. We have 1.3 million residents. We have over 400 House reps. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and lower house reps.
You're a heavily populated,
Huh?
Aren't the House of Representatives based on population?
Oh no! We have the entire state of New Hampshire has 1.3 million representatives. We still have like this. We still have.
You're talking about lower rep.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking lower house.
You're talking like.
I'm not running for Congress or anything.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I mean that would never happen.
You're gonna be like an alderman or something.
No, I'm gonna be a state rep. I'm gonna be a part of the state legislature.
Rep. Right.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna fight to make weed legal. Fight to make casino gaming legal. Hopefully, fight to get some tax incentives for the film industry here, so that maybe New Hampshire won't suck as much as it does.
It sounds like there's a lot of stuff in there that you want to do that benefits you personally,
a little bit,
and not necessarily the people.
Oh no, it'll benefit the people because I mean, here's a sad thing about New Hampshire. They got a thing they try to put on each year called Live Work or Stay Work Play New Hampshire, because every year new high school graduates leave in droves. Like young people cannot wait to get the fuck out of the Granite State because this place is boring and old and it's set up for old people.
Well, yeah, it's New Hampshire.
We improve the arts. I mean, shit, people might want to stay.
Good Omen drops a sign in the chat, says, support our Lord, buy the mugs, shirts, and remember, things could always be worse.
That's a good fucking book, too.
What's that?
Good Omens.
I don't know if that's how he got his name or not, but yeah.
I hope so. I mean, that was Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. By the way, I still have the books I got you. For some reason, they shipped here.
Yeah, you told me in a
yeah, so I've got them sitting on my pantry.
No big dude. You just, I'll maybe I'll pick him up at VidCon from you or something if you're going. Or
Are you
bring
going?
him with you. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna try.
Oh shit! Do you got a where you? I mean, if you got a place to stay at?
I'll get a place.
Oh well, I only mention that because there's a big fancy Airbnb that we're trying to fill up with people.
Yeah. I've been told by Matt and Failure to. Well, I don't know if Failure's going this year or not, but definitely like when I was on stream with Matt and Chris Raygun, they were telling me about it, but I don't really care for sharing space with people. Like I'll go to all the parties and all that stuff, but when it comes to crashing, I like to be alone.
That's
Um,
fair.
I'll
be making a lot of food.
Like, I bet, but yeah, it's not. It's just a thing about me.
No, I mean,
since Iraq, I have to be used to somebody before I can comfortably sleep in a room with them. You know,
that's more than fair. I mean, it was
because if I don't know the person and they make some sort of noise at night in the middle of the night that I'm not used to, I'll flip the fuck out.
Oh, dude, if you're crashing anywhere around me, I can guarantee there'll be plenty of random ass noises throughout the night. So
yeah, I'll probably. I know it's more expensive, but I'll probably just.
Are you going? Well, are you going down to? I mean, are you going out for the parties and shit? Or are you going to the convention?
I probably won't go to the convention. I don't see the point.
I'm not. Yeah, it is.
I'll probably go to just hang out with some people from YouTube that I've wanted to meet now for the past year that I've been doing this.
Oh, you'll be amazed too. Like you'll have like the sheer number of fans and like subscribers that you'll meet. Who like you'll either know them by name and then you'll be like, "Holy shit, that's you! It's so good to meet you," or just like randomers you've never heard of. They'll just be like, "Holy shit, dude, it's you!" Oh no, I don't fuck around too much, but I came down to meet people. Like when I was out at Kilroy, I had a dude hit me up on Discord on the 19th. It was 4/19. He's like, "Hey man, I've got 3 grams of really good green I can give you. Just tell me your hotel room number." I'm like, "Huh, I've never had any interaction with you. You narc.
Yeah,
I well, the next day he showed up at like the hotel lobby. He's like, "Hey man, sorry, I kind of like I know I get why you didn't respond. Here's that weed I told you I had. It was good ass weed."
Yeah, I'm a very I guess like I'm a very sociable person. I love talking to people and I love hanging out and I love having a few beers with the guys and whatever. But at the end of the night, I also like to go home, to my own space and unwind and unravel, And so it's not something that I'm that interested in sharing like a fucking real world house with 15 other fucking YouTubers. That would probably
6, but yeah. No, I mean I hear you, dude. I mean that makes
and the last thing y'all need is me up there like in whatever room I'm in, and then somebody fucking drops something and I'm sleeping and I'm not used to that noise, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Sniper! Get him!" You don't need that shit. Like
you're gonna wake up with like one of your own groupies and you're like, "What are you doing in my bed?" Wait a second, hang on. You're wrapped around my dick. Never mind. Continue.
I don't know if Magog has groupies per se.
Oh, you'd be surprised, dude.
Per se,
you would be surprised.
I get fancy, nice comments now and again, but I really don't know about groupies. I'm not a rock star. I'm a fucking comedian.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
I'm a fat Southern guy that dresses like a wizard. Come on, like
this is your live stream channel.
I found my calling, I guess.
Dude, no, honestly, like it's like I told Beardy the same thing, and I've been saying it for a while. You guys, honestly, like I want your kind of content to be the fucking future of the shit, because the SJW party's mostly over. You can't just like throw your avatar up and be like, "Can you believe what a fucking dipshit Riley Dennis is?" anymore. It doesn't really work the same.
Right, but even though I'm continuing that, at least for now until the new studio is built,
you don't do that. No, you don't.
At least I'm doing it in a way that's like
No, the thing is, you don't even do that. I mean, I watch your shit. And you don't put anything out that isn't like, that doesn't have some thought to it. And moreover than that, you do it in a way which you offer people more than just the standard. Holy shit! Isn't this a bunch of gay bullshit here, huh? Oh my god!
Yeah,
Oh,
I like to pride myself in some top-notch insults and comedy sketches, and the self-deprecating humor helps too. Where like
oh,
Magog will like poison himself or blow himself up by the end of the episode, and that's fun.
yeah. That's this thing though. Like, I honestly believe, like, I think your real audience, the ones that will be with you for the weird kind of culty ones, kind of like the Saints audience. And that's a fucking weird cult. You should go hang out in the Saints Discord sometime. Just take a look at what those are up to. But those people, I mean, I think it's more the Magog character. I know with me, I enjoy the Magog character. I enjoy that, like, befuddled, like, what is this weirdness from this world I'm not a part of, kind of narrative that you got going on. A lot more than even like the commentary about the shit. Like, queer kid stuff is going to be cringy and fucking dumb forever. Nothing's ever going to change that. But when Magog talks about it, I like that baffled sort of like,
Right.
what is this?
Right. Yeah. Well, I will admit that's the selling point of my channel. It's why I did it. But now it's like what you're talking about, what I've wanted to do from the beginning once I started seeing the reaction of Magog, because technically at the beginning I was doing this as a joke. Like, I put a lot of thought into it, don't get me wrong, but I have a tendency to do that in life. I'm one of those people, like, once I get an idea and it sticks, because I get a lot of ideas, but the one that sticks, I go like full bore. I'm like, I'll spend $3,000, get fancy cameras and lighting and a costume, and I'll build a set. And it was a dare from some friends of mine, like, yeah. I'm glad this one worked out, because there's been plenty of harebrained schemes in my life that didn't, and I put a lot of money into them,
I know. Seeing is that the construction paper green screen I see back there?
Yes, it's actual green screen material, but it is glued.
Okay.
Duct taped and glued to a giant piece of cardboard. that's stuck to the wall with double-sided sticky tape.
I noticed. Yeah, I know. Well, I noticed the wrinkling to it, and I'm like, that looks like something I'm familiar with.
The majesty is now gone, isn't it? Now that you see that it's all just smoke and mirrors. There's you see the scrolls, my like living room back here,
scrolls piled up on the desk, and now you know that those scrolls are nothing more than fucking gas bills that you rolled up and died. Oh no!
Right? Oh, thank God nobody could see the print. But no, I've wanted to take from kind of since I got like the logic bump and so many people started subscribing. I've kind of saw this as being like something that YouTube needs to go towards. And even if it's political discussion, it needs to be done in a more fun way.
Yeah.
And that helps us cover our ass too, because it's like we're comedians dressing up as characters. There's no doubt that we're not serious, right? And that is a lot better than like an avatar, because everybody has an avatar, and there's nothing wrong with avatars. People use them all the time.
Yeah.
Sargon uses them and stuff. But because it's so used to being seen, the avatar thing doesn't convey, hey, I'm fucking around,
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's a funny thing, because, like, it's just to observe the sort of patterns, the growth, like the changes in the medium itself, what it is people go for, what it is they want. Because, I mean, there was a time in which those biting responses with just, like, whatever your avatar is, and I did them myself a while, when I'm at the beginning of my channel. There was a time in which, like, yeah, people really, really wanted that because it was kind of new and it was novel and they enjoyed it. And then the market got flooded with it, and you saw it sort of, it's like, okay, not everybody gets to be bearing. All right.
Right.
And then, yeah, and so, like, we've seen this shift too recently, like over the last 6 months or so. People have been going more towards the
live streams,
constant live streams. Yeah, it's just like, that sort of content.
And well, the thing is, I also enjoy live streams, but I really can't imagine live streams being Magog's main thing. And the reason is Magog is always funnier and a better character when I can think out the situation and the jokes.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dropping is a lot harder.
Yeah, that's part of the thing. I think is like it's about the market saturation. The market becomes oversaturated with live streams. When live streams become a big thing, people love them, and then there's just too many live streams, and all of a sudden people are like, well, I'd like something different now. And my hope really is that it goes more towards the skit based things in which you need to put thought into it. You need to try. I mean, and I'm saying this as a guy who just rants on camera and then tries to make his green screen look good. But
hold that thought. I want to hit the chat a little bit so
I'll go for it,
audience doesn't think I'm ignoring them. But Kadun's in the chat and she's like, talking about dolphin radio sounding guy. I don't know what that is. And I have a very nice comment here from Sarah Sanders. The greatest dare you accepted, and I'm glad you did. I wish I would have found your channel sooner, but thanks to Demon Hobbit for telling me about your channel. Thanks, Demon Hobbit, and thank you, Sarah. And, Reverend Satan says, it's almost George Carlin, Bill Hicks in delivery. Yes, you're tackling serious subjects, but with a sardonic smile and the mean-spirited chuckle. Yeah, I mean, when has that never worked? Like all the comedy I grew up on was that, and even some of the more dry British humor that took a while to get to the punchline. That's Magog. Like, I don't do quick cuts like Raygun does or something, like.
Oh, you don't do jump cuts like that?
No. Like, if you watch every single one of my videos, I'm on camera exactly how long I need to be.
Yeah, so you know the feel then too when it's like you're gonna get this take right, and you get through it, and you're like maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes into the take, and you're like, this is good, this is perfect. All right, cool, time to wrap it up, close it out, and I fuck it up in a way I can't forgive myself for. Time to start over again.
The difference here is I do multiple takes in a row, and then I'll stop recording, start again. So every file that I download is a single line off of that script. And I do about 5 or 6 of them. And I'll pick the best delivery. And don't get me wrong, some of them aren't the greatest, but they're the best of the bunch, and they get the point across, and it's still funny. It may not be 100%, but it's good for YouTube. I'm definitely going to put a little bit more thought and hard work into the sitcom when it starts. But the sitcom's going to take a little while because I have to fund it somehow. And I'm getting the new studio on the 12 and a half acres of land I got. But even when all of that is done and I move there, because there's also going to be an apartment attached to it, I'm still going to have to raise.
Oh, yeah, you're telling me about that.
Yeah, another maybe 40, 50,000 just to get started because I got to build the medieval village. I have to hire background actors as well as try to find some talent that can be on screen with Magog as like main characters of that season.
Well, I mean, you could be certain that if I can manage to travel my ass down to Alabama, which I imagine ain't too expensive.
I ain't in Alabama, motherfucker.
Arkansas.
That's
right. I knew it started with an A, and it wasn't New England. So it's like, oh, was it in New England? No, huh? All right, well, then it's a mistake. I fuck with Anna Hotta Hearts all the time too. She's from Connecticut, and she's like, "Yeah, New England." Like, yeah, Connecticut's not New England. What are you talking about? But yeah, and I mean, with that, I mean, I almost, it would be great. I'd love to see you start a Twitch gaming channel where you just play like a modded out version of Mount and Blade.
Like, a lot of people have told me to do that, and honestly, I'm not that into games. I mean, I really am not. I'm not a big gamer. I like the games that I do play. And 2, I really think that the market is saturated with those 2. And I think I really need to just stick with what I like to do.
No, I mean, never do anything that you don't like doing simply because you think like the market would play to it. I mean, I could honestly, I could start, I could reboot one of my secondary channels as a fucking drama channel, or I could just do my channel as a drama channel, right? And probably rack in a whole bunch of money and subs. Fuck that. I mean, I'd fucking hurl myself out the window that I spend my time thinking at. What would be the fucking point? Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, what's the point of doing it?
Just once, though, and I think you might be good for this because I have ideas all the time, and people know that I brainstorm constantly, and that's one of the reasons I don't game a lot is because I'm always in my own head anyway. I'd much rather be doing some artwork or, writing a script or something, right? But don't get me wrong, I do take my breaks. Like this past weekend, I cranked up Skyrim again just for the shits and giggles, just because I wanted to kill some shit. I just need to blow off some steam, kill some fucking giants and some bandits. I'm probably not going to play for any extended amount of time because that game, I've already played it 100 times. But anyway, that's a segue. But I had this idea the other day that I thought would make for a brilliant kind of sketch show, but be able to tackle the subjects, like some of the political and social and psychological. And I really like this idea of like arguing with yourself.
Oh,
I had this vision of like just like one of those like white backgrounds, like on Penn and Teller's bullshit.
Yeah, or like
right. And where like the one person on the channel literally states both sides of the argument and argues with himself, and it comes.
Dude, well, I mean, like, because so like the style that I dress in on my videos, it was funny at Kilroy. A couple people were like, "Holy shit, you just dress like that all the time?" Like, yeah, I try and dress well. I like waistcoats and shit. And I was thinking, like, I've got a blue shirt. I wanted to get a red one, and then just fucking like play with my green screen and just steel man the shit out of both sides of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And just do a series where it's like arguing with the smartest person I know, me. Hey.
Right. Maybe don't be so egocentric, but definitely
I have to keep
definitely call it like arguing with myself.
Listen, you've got your character. I had somebody today telling me, because like I was fucking banting at Sinatra Says, and someone's like, hey, maybe your fucking YouTube channel will grow if you weren't so busy fucking subscribers. And I'm like, yeah, I'm up to 6. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna. No, you know what? If this is like the way the character's coming out, if what people know about me is that I'm a Dionysian man whore, all right, that's fine. I'll run with it.
Yep. And to answer some of the things in the chat, Antihero Broadcast says, I think what really hooked me to your channel was the combination of high fantasy and modern day awful. It's great to hear you tell people they're really lucky to not be eaten. That was kind of the perspective of it was the outsider looking in. It's like, here's this guy living in a medieval realm, and even though it's a fantasy realm, we all play in RPGs like Skyrim, where it's like there's magic and there's dragons and it's all the stuff that we love. Could you actually imagine living there, though? It would be fucking horrible. Like, what happened to my wife? She got eaten by skeletons that rose from the grave. Like, now I have to find another one, Like, that's a horrible world. So Magog actually comes from like, he's the only funny one in the realm. Like, he comes from the realm that Magog lives in was actually borrowed from a fantasy novel I was writing that was gothic, dark horror fantasy. And so it was like, all the stuff in Magog's world is actually serious. Like, when I write the sitcom, it's going to be like serious, like Game of Thrones darkness, but then Magog's going to be showing up going, what the fuck are you people doing?
It's a great thing too. A friend of mine one time said our society in general would be much better off if we had things like air sharks, like, just like great whites that floated through the sky, just so we had that tiger still chasing us, so that we need to make sure we didn't get lazy. It's like, oh, why is Magog so, like, why is he so cynical and funny? It's like, well, because his fucking, like, his best friend was eaten by a fucking dragon, and that was a common occurrence where he comes from.
Yeah, you gotta understand too, it wouldn't have worked with just an avatar.
Yeah,
that idea of like, this is a real world that Magog lives in, kind of. Obviously, you watch the show and you have to have a suspension of disbelief. That's all entertainment. That I'm just some guy dressed up. But when you're watching it, you're like, this isn't Jeremy playing Magog. This is Magog. right? And so like you believe the castle in the background's a real castle and stuff because I really worked hard on the CGI and stuff. And that helps sell the joke when Magog's all like, what are you bitching about? You get to shit indoors, like you don't get fucking eaten by a dragon every day. Like women in my realm have to have 7 kids because 5 of them are dead by the age of 5.
Well, I was pushing Jeff today. I was talking with Jeff because he's like, I don't know how I'm gonna fucking top Hemlock Moonwolf, like what I'm gonna do next. And I was like, do a Brad Warcock collab, right? So Hemlock seeks out a life coach. Now I can't help but think like Hemlock Moonwolf taking life advice from Magog and Morriscar. It's like, I've been really upset because I can't get enough soy in my diet, or I can't eat enough kale or whatever. It's like
maybe you just haven't sucked enough dicks.
Exactly. It's like tough love from Magog of from life coach of Morriscar.
Good Omen says for $5 in the chat, 4955 Navy welder. If I'm in country during set construction, will work for beer. And Metaphorist says Magog does THX1138. I have no idea. Is that?
Wait a second. THX. Is that the fucking? Is that the goddamn? Is that movie with what's his name?
I have no idea.
Christ, no.
But I did think, like, once I get the new studio and have more space, I'd love to be able to set the camera up behind Magog and actually show the magical portal. And, like, I'll put a green screen up and, like, CGI the castle wall with the portal and all this cool stuff around it. And then put, like, videos in it so all you see is, like, the back of my head and do, like, a Mystery Science Theater thing where you just see the silhouette of Magog going, the fuck is this? Jesus Christ. And that's not even a god from my world, and I'm cursing his name. Like
just sitting there and you see it's just like a video of like it's just a little Tay on the other side of this swirling portal. Magog tries to throw like one of those little black bombs. It's like, fuck, still can't get physical objects through. At least now I'll die.
Right? And do some really funny shit like that. I really want to expand the set, because with room comes more gags, more jokes. Oh, yeah. Like I really envy Beardy because he films outside. He has all that, like he has a fucking forest in his backyard and mountains and stuff.
With like the problems he's been going through, I really, really wanted him to go and do this for a merch thing though, just for Beardy, like the Beard Barian. Just go pick up go to Family Dollar or some shit or some like wholesaler. Buy up all of their hatchets, just like cheap ass $2 hatchets, right? And then just take a Dremel and write Beard Barian on the side. It's like, yeah, you can get your own Beard Barian fucking hatchets. Like, right. If I had the money, I'd fucking buy that.
Right.
Damn.
People in my chat are talking about Magog should really get a Discord server. I have a Discord server. I've had one for like 8 months. I just don't do anything on Discord, so I never give the link out because it's like every time I have gotten on Discord, one, I don't fully understand it. I've already got like 10 social medias I pay attention to. Discord just adds another to the pile of heap, and two, it's like, fuck, Discord's like a place where like people, like right now, Discord's like toxic as fuck, I guess you could say. I hate that term because SJWs use it, but it really is like people are doxing each other in these Discord servers and all kinds of shit.
Oh yeah, they try to
if I put the link to my Discord server out publicly, man, I'll probably get raided by some of these fucktards.
Oh yeah, no, we've had at the Saints Discord, we've had like salt rightards coming in all the time, and the funniest thing is though is they jump in thinking they're gonna raid and fuck up our shit up our Discord, and it's like, you don't know where you came to the wrong neighborhood, friend. No, they get run out of the Discord, not even by the mods, just by the fucking weirdos we have living there. So
moderators that I trusted, and they would boot people like that, but I don't know what the point of joining my Discord would be because I'm hardly on it, and I figured the point of joining something like that was to get to talk to me now and again, but I pay attention to Twitter, Minds, Gab, and I don't even get on some of those all the time because there's just so many of them. Like I got mines, and I've got actually a decent following of mines, but I barely post anything
Oh
on there.
yeah, I haven't touched mines in a while. In fact, I'll say as far as social media platforms go too, I've been trying to get out of them. Like I got off of Facebook, and it was sick, dude. It was like a withdrawal period happened.
Not me. I don't get on them anyway, really, all that much.
That's the wise way to go, man. When I
I
like,
have them all so that I can still post the links to my videos out, but for the most part, people are like, "Man, how come you never talked to me on your Facebook?" Because I logged in was a month ago.
yeah,
Sorry.
the only reason I haven't entirely nuked it is just because I've got a fuck ton of like old pictures of Quinn on there, and so I'm like, I gotta get those before I do. But it took me about 2 weeks to get used to not looking for it, not checking it and shit. And like I'd hear the mobile messenger like sound go off on someone else's phone, and I'd be like, oh fuck, wait, no, I don't do that anymore. That's good. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, yeah, social media is fucking toxic. Like and fuck saying like it's a social justice word. I'm taking it back. I'm reclaiming it from the
Well,
re.
like what's weird is I'm in the wrong fucking job if I think social media is toxic,
Oh, I know, me
because
too. Yeah.
like the whole goddamn duct tape. Sorry. I got this fucking shitty camera duct taped to like an old tripod that is like hardly even adjustable,
Oh, dude, I used to shoot audition videos on my
because
phone,
I don't
and
care about this camera.
I made a duct tape and cardboard like holster basically for my phone that I mounted to the shitty ass tripod. And so yeah, I feel you, dude. I know that feel.
Right. But anyway, no, I want more of a, I don't know, like I'm waiting for the bigger show to begin so that the fans aren't just like, oh, like he liked my comment on Twitter. I'll be able to get like the fans actually involved in the show. They'll be able to like fly out and be
Yes.
background people, and they'll be able to send me props and be like, that's my prop,
Yeah. No,
and stuff like that.
yeah, the voice thing is a big one. Do you know Arl Knots? Have you ever seen their channel?
No.
They're the ones they've been redubbing um Star Wars episode by episode. They cut them down so like, the 2 hour movie becomes like a 20-minute video, or actually the last one was a 50-minute video. But yeah, they've reestablished lore, like it's a whole new lore. Like the Jedi, they're nothing but party monsters. Metachlorians is heroin. Um,
Nice.
yeah, and they did a 50-minute video for their last one, which was the Return of the Jedi, which they redid, and it was the last Laser Master. And part of it, they brought patrons in, and they're like, "Yeah, if you guys want, you can, we'll send you a shit ton of lines. Send us the recordings of those lines back, and we'll incorporate the best ones into the video." And they had like a big release party down in Brooklyn at this like pretty swanky sort of nightclub, and they rented the whole place out, and they had the bar making special drinks like Tatooine Titty Twisters, which is like a bourbon and honey drink. It was really good actually. And yeah, and they screened it on a projection screen, and then there was a big party. I got brought down, and I actually got to meet them, which is how they came on Saints. And I dance battled a man with lightsabers. It was fucking beautiful. But I mean that sort of
Yeah.
thing. I mean, like audience engagement is worth its weight in fucking gold. That's really what I mean. That's a big reason I think a lot of, in addition to your content, I think the reason that you've cultivated the audience that you have is because you're not um you're not Dave Rubining it as it was. You're like, oh my god, why the fuck? What's wrong with you? You like this shit? Well, I love you for it. Let's hang out and talk.
Right. No, don't get me wrong. Dave Rubin still kind of captured something, but it's all about the type of personality. Like, I'd love to do a podcast as just me, like I was talking about before you joined the show. I'm thinking about starting a whole other channel just for me, so I can stop doing these out of character stuff on the Magog live streams. And that way, I don't care about the subscribers over on that one, but like every Friday night, I can get a guest on, like I'm doing now, and just have a conversation with somebody. And I really like that because I've always just enjoyed talking with people and learning new things. And seeing new points of views and hearing other people talk and responding to what they have to say. And I'm like a curious child, I guess you could say, when it comes to just being me. I just really like talking and interacting with people. That's why, like, I needed that tonight. That's why I just started a random stream, because I was like,
I'm glad you did. I mean, I wasn't doing anything except watching anime, so yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I do have work to do and stuff. I could have possibly not streamed tonight and just started getting work on Magog, but I was like, fuck, I got the rest of the week. Everybody will have an episode by the end of the week. I mean, it's not a big deal. I want to do more episodes per week, but I got to figure out what the format of those new episodes is, because I'm not going to do response videos more than once a week. I want to do something else with Magog. So there might be like new episodes of like Magog reacting to like non-intrusive political and social things. Like, instead of Magog reacting to like this SJW or that, alt-righter or
yeah,
that flat world guy,
yeah.
He's going to be reacting to like raunchy ice cream commercials or something. And he's like,
or yeah, or maybe you can show what the weird cringe is in Morscar. It's like, I've spent a lot of time talking about your weird shit, but let me tell you about what fucking Goblin Lives Matter.
Right? Like, I'd love to get. No, eventually I want to do stuff like that. Like, the whole premise of the first show, once I have the land and some sets built and some people to actually interact with Magog in his world, dressed up in like Renaissance fair, is to have like, in like RPGs, there's always like an element of fantasy RPGs where you just collect a shit ton of loot, and then eventually you got to make it to a merchant and sell it all, right? And I really want to do parodies of that, where Magog's the one running like a magic shop and people come in to buy and sell shit to him. So he's not like the main character of this quest. The people coming in are
he's
the fucking merchant, but everything he sells people fucks their quests up.
Yeah, or like I'm seeing like a Morscar Pawn Stars kind of thing. This is like,
exactly. So I really want to do these skits where like different adventurers come in and they're like, quick, I need this thing, and Magog's like, I can help you out with that, but it also might.
Let me tell you honestly. Now I don't know who you got this from. If they said it was Gorgon's blood, no, this is ordinary squirrel blood.
Like, yeah, I'd love to have like a guy come in. He's like, you told me that this Gorgon's blood would melt the door on the magic dungeon because it's magic blood and it would melt metal. It did nothing, and then I got my ass kicked by goblins. And Magog would be like, let me see that. Oh, I actually gave you my cranberry juice.
Or just like the replacement to ass rape will end up being all sales are final.
All sales are final.
Right. And that's just something I really want to do, like start doing actual skits that take place in the world of Magog and Morscar. Because I have all these funny, like, in Skyrim, when you pick up too much loot, you can't run. Yeah. So your character moves like epically slow. I'd love to do one where Magog's like sitting outside of his shop, and then he looks over and this fucking adventurer's like, Magog's just like, come on, guy. Come on, you can do it.
No, he just like unrolls like a scroll map, and he's just looking at his enemy, and then he just starts poking his finger at like one part of the map.
Fuck. Can't fast travel with enemies nearby.
Right? Like, do all kinds of. I'd love to do stuff like that, like parodies on Skyrim and stuff.
I'd love to write it with you too, because I mean, I've been doing like. Everyone's like, where's your videos? It's like, you do understand I need to like think about a topic for about a day or two before I can even begin to go for a 20-minute regrettable rant.
I'd love to do one joke where like a guy comes in and he's like, there's a mystical dungeon that I must raid, and there's something I need in order to save the king's life. And he's like, but the door has magic protection spells on it. I need a key to open up a magic door. And Magog hands him a key, and he's like, this key is enchanted with magic so powerful to unlock any lock. And the guy's like, how do you know it works? And Magog would be like, the princess, that chastity belt came right off. Like,
I
mention anymore.
How about this though? How about this? It's so an adventurer doesn't really look like an adventurer, but an adventurer walks into the shop and he's like, I'm going to be going into a dungeon. I need armor. Oh, and like a full breastplate. No. Something more with studs and the like. And you just end up selling him a bondage outfit. Like, what kind of dungeon is this?
The fun kind.
It's the fun one. Well, I have lots of fun in dungeons. Are there goblins in there? Well, there might be, but would you like to come? Yeah, and then it's just Magog in a leather thong dancing, like, fucking like the flipping out to like dubstep while randomers just fuck behind him.
The problem is it would still have to be medieval. Like, the whole point is to not break lore. So if anything like that happens, it has to be like, instead of dubstep techno, it's like lute players in the background, like
lute players
scared to death. They're like, "Why were we hired for this?" Like,
there's a fucking CG dragon in the corner with a ball gag in its mouth. Like, oh hey, I didn't know you were coming here.
Rufus, what? Like, no, I'd love to do stuff like that.
Oh, Reverend Satan in the chat, I love it. Oh, there's Goblin, all right.
Right. Goblin. But
are there goblins? Well, there's quite a bit of goblin going on, I can guarantee you that.
Right.
I love your
mascara. I'd love to eyes. I'd love to do one skit where like the girl adventure comes in wearing the cliche chainmail bikini.
Yeah.
But in like video games, you could have like 300 pounds of stuff in your inventory and it's not actually on your person, And she comes in and she just like pulls out this massive like warhammer and she's like, I killed a bandit leader. I want to sell this. And God's like, where were you keeping it?
Yeah.
And then she turns around and has a pouch about this big. She's like, I have an enchanted inventory pouch. It's like, how are you not dead yet? What are you wearing? An arrow hits you here. You're dead.
Just like it just walks around the side of the counter and starts like actually just sort of groping the naked flesh parts. Like none of this is protected. Then it's just like you touch the metal titty and you get smacked in the face. Like that was uncalled for. That was assault. Like I just groped your naked body. Yes, but I have 300 armor.
Right. It's like, how are you still alive? She's like, for some reason, when I go out, men just aim for my tits. That's all I need to protect right here. I want to do funny parody stuff like that, but also eventually, like those are skits. Those are skits that I want to do, but eventually the real show, the real sitcom is going to be like this quasi-dramatic, serious world like Game of Thrones, where like all this like intrigue and politics and war is going on, and all these really dramatic, truly like in their own fucking world characters, and then introduce Magog to it. And I think that's the juxtaposition that's going to be amazing.
That actually, I could see that working out. I mean, that would kind of that's kind of what I expected.
Because I didn't want Monty Python. I didn't want the whole world to be goofy too.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's actually that's the perfect inversion of that old comedy formula. Because usually you've got a goofy world with like one or two straight man characters.
Really, right? Real serious characters. That's like, why am I in this clown world?
Yeah,
right.
And instead you make a really serious world with like the and it's like, well, it's like this one wizard just doesn't fit in. Wah, wah, wah.
Right? I want him, but he's also powerful and can be serious too. And that's the whole point, is to really do a dramatic show with a lot of comedy. I think that perfect blend of like drama, action, and comedy are really what people love. I mean, look at the Marvel movies. They have a perfect blend of that. Where like 1 minute you're like crying because you're like, that person just died. But then the next minute you're laughing at something Tony Stark is saying while he's flying in an iron suit.
That's one of the things I kind of... And this is just specific to Marvel and Disney, is that I noticed that as soon as Disney took over, that Pirates of the Caribbean feel came into it, to where, is there tension in the scene? Is there tension in the scene? There's tension. There's real tension. People are invested. Okay, Silly joke time, casual silly joke. Yeah, banter. Let's do banter. It's like, okay, we don't need. I mean, Guardians 2, right? Love the film, but it just smelled like Pirates of the Caribbean in space.
I disagree. I think that they're really well written. I mean, I get what you're saying too, because
I
a
agree.
lot of that format is in Disney movies, but you have to understand that there's a reason it's in a lot of their movies. It works.
Yeah, I mean, like, shit. I mean, I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, like that had a really nice blend of like strange comedy and seriousness. And
There was only a couple times in which I was like, with that one, when I was like, oh,
let me give you a perfect example though of maybe the Marvel movies were a bad example. I'll give you a perfect example of what I see in my head. I am a huge fan. It's probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm a huge fan of Willow.
oh yeah,
And that was directed by Ron Howard, and it was a Lucas film. It was written by George Lucas and his friend, who was a
and Val
you know,
and Val Kilmer.
right, and that had a perfect blend of like
Val, the Pixies. The Pixies, those were the comic relief.
the Brownies.
Yeah, the Brownies. Yeah,
the one of them was Kevin Pollak. He had
yep.
had the rat on. I love it when he falls in that barrel, then he comes out and he's like, beer, dives back in. Like, it's all that stuff. Like, even when like Val Kilmer plays Mad Mardigan, he's the greatest swordsman who ever lived. But at the same time, like, he gets hit in the face with fairy dust and falls in love with Sorsha the moment he sees her, And he's like, "You're my moon, my stars." And she's like, "I'll cut your fucking throat,"
Ron Howard,
that was great. And that's what I want with Magog. I want this serious fantasy realm with real danger, like the bad guy in Willow, or the villain, I guess you say, was Bavmorda, the evil sorceress. And she was seriously scary when I was a kid. I was like, that woman was a great villain, right? But at the same time, I would love it to have here's like a Game of Thrones situation where it's like the king killed my cousin and put his head on a pike. So I'm raising a rebellion against the kingdom, and we're about to go into a civil war. And all these clans have joined me. And then all of a sudden Magog's in the background like, "Why are you people in my tavern?" Go away.
I gave all of their horses STDs. With magic. I did it with magic. But
it's this comedy thing that I want to do where like Magog doesn't actually want to be the serious main character. He doesn't want to go on these adventures. He wants to kind of do his own thing, and he keeps getting dragged into it. And then eventually he kind of like accepts it and then realizes he really just kind of wants to conquer everything.
There's have you ever read Raymond Feist? I think it was. No, it was David Eddings. That's it. I think it was David Eddings, a fantasy writer. And it was, one of these quest for the magic stone stories and all that. And there was this character, though, called Nacor. And he was this weird foreigner who was like, wasn't exactly a magician, wasn't exactly a sorcerer, but he had some tricks. And he was constantly offering everyone oranges. And at a certain point, someone finally breaks down. It's like, why? Where are these fucking oranges coming from? You reach into that empty burlap sack of yours and then just have an orange to offer me when I'm not even wanting one. How's that? And he explains, well, I kind of was able to set up a little portal that I could reach through, and I tried to do it in a bank so I could just reach in and grab gold whenever I needed. Unfortunately, I kind of fucked it up, and now I can't change it, so I have an unlimited supply of oranges. Hey.
Right? Yeah, it's little things like that, but I do want to be taken seriously. Like, I want it to be goofy at times. I want it to be funny. I want it to be situationally funny, which means it happens in Magog's world, and I'm not like looking into ours or anything like that. I'm not attacking anybody directly. Yeah. But I also I have to watch, because there's a razor thin line between like good action drama and comedy mixed together and bad action comedy and drama mixed together. Here is a perfect example. Good comedy, action, and drama mixed together, Willow in the fantasy genre. Bad comedy, action, and drama mixed together, Dungeons and Dragons, the movie.
What was there was the guy who I'm always forgetting his name. He was he did Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name either for some reason, and mostly because I hate that fucking guy. I think he's so annoying. God damn, I think he's annoying. Every single fucking one of his movies.
Not Ricky Bobby. That was
No, that's Will Ferrell.
yeah, that was Will Ferrell's character.
That's Will Ferrell and
Talladega Nights. Yeah.
yeah.
Which I couldn't stand that fucking movie.
Yeah.
Honestly. But no, I mean, he did. I remember there was one which was more on the fucking Seth Rogen-ish comedy side of things.
Are you talking about Your Highness? Where it was a fantasy realm, but he was like getting high all the time. He was like the second son, and the first son was James Franco.
And yeah, actually that was it. And all the other characters were serious. All the entire every other character was serious, and then it was just him like hamming it up. And Danny McBride, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, it had like Natalie Portman in it. Like I enjoyed the movie, except for I hate Danny McBride's face. Like I just fucking can't stand that guy for some reason. Like he just, and not many people just irk me right off the bat, but he just is one. He's just one of the few in Hollywood that I'm just like, God, that guy sucks.
I guess Jason, what's his name? He's in he was in I Heart Huckabees. He was the big boss in Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and it's just that Woody Allen, Ben Stiller kind of super Jewy thing,
right?
That I'm just like, no, stop it. We can be Adrian Brody. Stop this now. I fucking hate that kid. He's good at what he does, and I can't take away. He's got chops. He's a good actor. He's got comic timing. But it's like, oh God, please just stop now. Like, we don't need a rehash of American Pie in every film you're in.
Yeah,
it wasn't even his film.
A lot of people are typecast like that, even though they're talented actors. You know, like even I can't deny that Danny McBride is a good actor in many cases, and there's a reason he's.
No, Danny McBride just plays Danny McBride in everything he's in.
Mm-hmm.
Like and he does it well, but it's he's not really an actor in that sense as much as
he's a caricature.
Yeah,
and that's fine. He's made a career of it. I can't take that away from him. But at the same time, I fucking can't stand him.
Yeah, I personally like his shit myself. So yeah, I mean, I can feel you though on that personal dislike though, because I know a lot of people who think Ben Stiller's a fucking genius. I can't stand him.
I don't really care for Ben. The only movie with Ben Stiller that I can really watch and is fucking Dodgeball. I love that movie.
Have you ever seen Permanent Midnight?
That's not a bad film. I'll go ahead and give that to you.
Yeah, that one was that was one of the times in which I'm like, I forgot it was Ben Stiller. Right. That's why I liked it. It wasn't Ben Stiller. It was a fucking character.
And don't get me wrong. I when I was a kid, I did like Night at the Museum when it came out. Like, it's a cheesy movie now that I'm an adult, but when it came out, I was like, it's kind of a cute, feel-good movie, But I mostly liked it not because of Ben Stiller. I liked it because of the little Roman and the little cowboy fucking hating each other, But I mean, those were shit movies. Don't get me wrong. And he did 3 of them, So it's like, I mean, and I watched the classics too. I mean, it's Ben Stiller. I mean, you watch, Something About Mary. It's a good film.
It was, yeah. It was you know what it was? It was fresh, and that was that the Coen Brothers?
I believe so.
Yeah, I mean that right there. You can't. I mean, you fucking. You're talking about the people who made Big Lebowski. There's no getting.
There are no better directors at directing movies about absolutely nothing and make them interesting.
Yeah,
that's the Coen Brothers. Like, I love the dude. I like your style, dude.
I just and I love like how it's turned into such a fucking weird cult thing too. Like the dude, I mean, The Big Lebowski is possibly one of the most iconic films of the 90s period.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's once again, it's because it's that kind of dreamscape of like reality merging with stuff that just doesn't happen to ordinary people, and yet here's this really ordinary nothing guy,
Yeah, there literally was nothing to the dude, and him being at the center of everything was what he was kind of like. It was like a tabula rasa kind of thing, like just blank slate.
Yeah, he was basically, I mean, he had a character, but essentially he was a perfect character for the audience to pour themselves into.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Because he was just the dude. I mean,
Right. He didn't even really have a name. Like,
yeah.
His name was Lebowski, obviously, but he was the dude.
Yeah,
like
I
he's
honestly-
like, I'm not Mr. Lebowski. That's Mr. Lebowski. I'm the dude. Like,
yeah, I can't even honestly think of what the character's first name was.
can't.
You're right.
Yeah. I know it was the exact same as the guy, the rich guy.
Yeah, or
That's why there was a mix up at the beginning. But it was also, it wasn't just he was an empty bottle for the audience to put themselves into. He also, there was like a semi-brilliance to his snarkiness.
It was
like,
identifiable. That's what it was.
Right. He was the cynical asshole part of all of us. And I love that. From the very beginning, like that first joke when they keep putting his fucking head in the toilet and then they let him up and he puts his sunglasses on. And then the guy pulls the bowling ball out and he goes, "What the fuck is this?" And he goes, "Obviously you're not a golfer."
Yeah, and I mean his central motivation. I mean, he kept getting tied up and shit. It was ultimately about he just wanted to get his rug back. That's all he
actually he had a rug. He wanted to get the rug replaced because
he wanted. Yeah, no, that's the thing. He wanted a new rug.
Yeah, the whole movie was just like, they pissed on my rug. Oh man, that rug really tied the room together, dude.
Yeah, even though like when you see the room, there's nothing in it. Otherwise,
it's in a shitty apartment. Like that's what's so funny about the movie. But I mean, like that's what's so great about. Like, it's that kind of comedy, too, that's really inspired me to do the Magog sitcom. I love the idea of, like, Magog being the guy that just gets pulled into shit he doesn't really want to deal with.
It's just a crazy, powerful wizard who would much rather be just tending to his bizarre wizard things.
Right.
And
which is like the show Now on YouTube is Magog living alone in his wizard tower doing his wizard thing. He doesn't really get pulled into
constantly being pulled into adventures where he has to save Morscar and the broader world.
Right.
But he only does that so that he can get back to making YouTube
videos. Another great example of that kind of comedy was the parody of like all those like 90s like fucking like college films where they were like, here's the guy and then he wants to like he gets pulled into a competition with the bro and ends up getting the girl. And that was like the episode of South Park where Stan, they all go to fucking ski, like on a ski trip to stay at one of those fucking timeshares. And so the kids Stan keeps getting pulled into this like 90s fucking bro movie. And he's just like, I don't even know you. And he's like, Stan Darsh, like that's the type of shit that I love.
Okay. Great. What do you want?
Right? And then when he wins and the girl comes up and kisses him and stuff, it's like, this is the greatest summer ever. And he's just like, I don't even know your name. Whatever. Like that kind of shit to me is what Magog should be on a grander scale. Is like Magog isn't just living in his wizard tower looking through a magic portal into other worlds anymore. He's actually got to pay attention to his world. And the whole idea of that is to write comedy like that. And I've looked forward to this type of filmmaking my entire life.
It's a really interesting take on what is like, the sort of standard thing too of like, straight guy versus like crazy, versus wacky comedy guy.
But it still is going to have some slapstick in it because I still am also really inspired by like Monty Python, Red Dwarf, and like Blackadder and shows like that. And like I'm already writing scripts and jokes for episodes that I plan on doing. And one of the episodes is Beardy, because Beardy's going to come down like 6 months out of the year and film with me.
Yeah.
And Beardy's going to be kind of like the sidekick of Magog, unfortunately, to Magog's dismay. And there's like this, I've got to build the setup where we'll use green screens or whatever. But man, there's this whole joke where like they have to rescue this girl who's been kidnapped by evil spirits, and they're in this like ruin of a castle. and there's this big wooden door, right? And there's all the stone, but it's a ruin. And so Magog and Beardy are running up to it, and they hear her screams from inside. And Beardbarian's way ahead of Magog because he's kind of like, he's a wizard, so he's not as athletic as a barbarian is. Mm-hmm. And Beardbarian goes running up to the door, and he's like, "We're coming!" And he starts whacking the door with the axe, and he's trying to take it down. And Magog eventually catches up, flies right past Beardy, and jumps over like the fucking stone that's there because the wall's completely gone. It's a ruin. Like the door's there, but the wall's completely missing. And Magog jumps over it, and then Beardy's still slamming his axe into the wood door. Then all of a sudden, Magog's head just peers back around. Like it's stuff like that that's still going to make it really fun.
Yeah, Magog jumps over the wall, right, and then Beardy's hammering away, and then from the other side of the door, while he's really going at it, and he just hears, "Wait, stop! Wait, Beard, stop! Hold on." Just trust me. Just opens the door. I've got this.
No, I think it would be even funnier if Magog just doesn't stop and he goes and like
just lets him.
He destroys the evil spirits. But
good job, buddy.
And by the time Beardberry like gets us through the door and he comes running up and he's like, "Where are they?" And Magog, "How'd you get here?" And Magog's like, "We were too late. She's dead." Like she's if you hadn't spent all your time bashing the door down, and it turns out Magog didn't even bother trying to save her. He was
I get that you're all about your axe and shit. But not everything is a tree that needs felling. That's all I'm saying.
Right? Like I want to do funny stuff like that. Like I love one where
that's the interesting sort of introversion the inversion of the thing. Is because instead of like playing it like straight guy versus weird guy, and usually it's when you have those kind of sitcoms, most of the universe is on it's as stupid as the comedy act, right? And the straight guy is the one who has to just deal with all of it, and that's kind of what gives you that comedy.
That's me, myself, and Irene. Like. Yeah. And he is the normal guy who's just a do-gooder, but he gets dragged into the insane world of his alter ego and this woman going on crazy adventures, and the whole world doesn't make sense. There's like an albino, there's like, there's all this crazy shit, and he's just trying to navigate through it. To me, that's been done. So I'm trying something different.
And that's what I like. I like that because you mentioned Red Dwarf, right? Now that one had an interesting twist because everything in the universe was stupid. Everything in the universe was silly, and most of the characters were too, with the exception of Rimmer. But you weren't following Rimmer. Rimmer wasn't your hero, and the hero in that case, he wasn't like he was enough of an idiot to where he fit into this absurd universe. But he was still just like they gave.
He was the tight ass. Yeah, he was the stick up his ass character.
Yeah, and that's what was that was what was sort of put, like Rimmer was exposition more than anything else.
Right.
It was fuck, what, I'm always forgetting this fucking character's name. The main character. The fuck was his name?
Dave Lister.
Lister, that's it, yeah. Lister wasn't like Lister was just an idiot. Like he wasn't as weird and goofy as the rest of the universe around him, so he still got to play that kind of straight character. But then he had Rimmer to sort of like bolster that, so he still looked like it'd be his like the slob jokes and shit. Like,
one of my favorite jokes from I think one of the first episodes of the first season was when the fucking ship picks up a garbage pod and Rimmer thinks it's like an alien pod. I love it when he's all like getting into the whole alien conspiracy thing, and he's like, "How did they build the massive pyramids and move such massive stones?" And Lister's like, "They had massive whips, massive whips." Like that's the kind of shit that like I fucking love and I can't wait to do. I mean, we've spent like an hour just talking about like the comedy that I want to do on a show that I can't even afford to do right now.
You get there, man. Honestly, like I mean, I'm fucking very confident that you're gonna get there.
I hope so. I plan on selling some art prints to raise the money.
Yeah, I genuinely fucking believe too that it's the kind of shit people really want. Like, people want entertainment, and I think to a certain extent too, people are starting to get sort of tired of the just the comedy, the content that they're seeing now. A lot of it, it's if it's not drama based, it's you know hard ass attempts at like some kind of stand up, and it's all kind of standard. And if there's one thing, like, I've been on YouTube for 4 years now, so I've seen a number of shifts, and I really do think that once people are given the sort of taste of produced comedy on YouTube that's not YouTube's version of what they think you should be laughing at,
Right.
I think a lot of people will be going for it.
Yeah, and I also want to do something that's a little different, that isn't the comedy that you see on YouTube, because what YouTube is pushing as the comedy you should be watching is like college humor and stuff, and that stuff is boring now. I remember when college humor was great, and now they're like PC centrals. Like, they don't want to step on anybody's toes. They walk on eggshells.
Clickhole's doing okay, but they're going for that really weird, obscure, what the fuck are you talking about kind of laugh.
Yeah, and that can work for some people, but not everybody. I want to do something different in a grassroots sitcom. I don't think was really a fantasy sitcom has ever been done. So, like, I want people to have that nostalgic feel when they watch it. I want them to be like, this is Xena and Hercules from the 90s, type of cheesiness, but still realistic enough to be a believable world.
And, well, it's such a trip too that we're actually like able to do that now. Like, you can self-produce content that by 90s standards, right, would have been fucking great.
Would have been Hollywood level.
Yeah. And
that blows my mind every time I think about it, because when I was 19, I was an independent filmmaker, and it cost me $5,000 for the camera. I had a boom mic, I had an expensive microphone and all this stuff, and I could never get my project finished.
Did you ever catch the documentary Side by Side?
Mm-mm.
Really, it was on Netflix for a while. I caught it a couple of years back. It was like produced, directed, and everything by Keanu Reeves, and it was all about examining the transition from conventional film stock to digital photography.
Nice.
And he goes into all the technical aspects of like how the cameras work, how film works versus how digital works, and how the evolution of digital's happened. And then at the end, like the last sequence, he's talking to people like Scorsese and all these big name directors, and and he goes into color correction, lighting, all of it. And it was funny because like Scorsese, I think, had this take where he's like, it's a double-edged sword that we're dealing with, because on the one hand, while it's good that digital photography is so cheap now that anyone with a dream can, make their dream somehow.
Right.
So that great art that maybe no one could afford to make beforehand can now be made. But the problem is that in order to get to it, you got to wade through like just entire lakes full of shit. So it's like for every one good art film that's made by an indie or student filmmaker, you got 2.5 dozen fucking films about like, it's a story about a struggling art student who's just trying to get their parents to accept their life choices. Like, oh,
right, exactly. I'm running into another problem too in my mind. Obviously, I'm not running into it physically because I haven't even started the show yet, but another problem I'm running into is the show How I Want to Do It can't be seen on YouTube, because I want it to be just as dark and gritty and violent and sexual as Game of Thrones. That's the whole point. The whole point is to throw Magog. Yeah, the whole point is to throw Magog into a really dark world, and the world that I based him in was borrowed from a novel I was writing that was filled with all of that dark shit. And I didn't want people to be like, oh, this is like, it still has to have that level of kind of 90s cheesiness to it to feel like Xena or Hercules, but it also has to be like, there's a naked woman who walks into Magog's shop covered in CGI dragons with white hair, and he's just like, why are you naked? And she's like, I'm the dragon queen. That doesn't answer my question. like I want to make fun of all that shit,
Well, yeah, I mean, with that, I mean, I think you can get around that easily enough though, because if you were to throw up just even your own website, or you were to like host,
That's what the plan is to do
Yeah.
like a website where people pay like $2 a month to get the premium show.
Well, I mean, like Dick Masterson's formula, right? You familiar with him?
No.
He was the guy that fucking Maddox tried suing, and he's been around. He's been around for a long time. And what dude pulls in like 20G a month from a podcast, basically. And you can catch the shit for free, but if you want to watch it and see what they're looking at and what they're enjoying, you have to pay just like $5 a month or some shit like that. And Dick fucking he offers there's free the free level freeware content that he makes, and then if you want the real shit, then you pay a little bit for it.
Right.
And I could see that even because you produce your episodes, right? Even there, you probably have no fucking problem if you were to produce you produce your main episode, you put it on the website, and then you put something like a safe for work teaser of some kind on YouTube. Or even just or a safe for work version where it's like, if you want to if you really want to get all the jokes, click the link down below. You go ahead and you go ahead and just become a proper Magogonite. And maybe if you're lucky, I'll actually get into my Discord from time to time and talk to you.
Well, yeah, I want to offer like premium content, not just the show uncensored and uncut on a website, but I also, for the people who pay the money, I want them to have access to like behind the scenes and stuff like a proper DVD or whatever would have. So like talks with the producers and the directors and the characters. And, I want to have a friend of mine just carry a camera around on set every day, all day, to capture funny moments and bloopers and things like that, so that, we can splice together documentary series of the filming of this rather ambitious grassroots sitcom funded by the fans and participated in by the fans, and a lot of the props were given by the fans, and it was all built by the fans and written by the top dogs that came up with the idea, mainly me, but some other friends involved too. And that's why I want to get on a proper filming schedule. I know I can't do the sitcom the way I do the YouTube video, where I'm just like we have 1 week to throw the next episode together. Like I'm going to have to film for like 3 months and then edit them and release them as they're supposed to come out. So that all my actors aren't coming back week after week, They can all come out, do their parts based on their schedule, and then leave, And then there can be callbacks in case we have to reshoot something or something didn't quite work out.
Yeah, which is always the case.
Right. But that's the kind of the point of Beer Barry coming down to live with me for 6 months at a time to help me out with that, as well as be in the show. So it's going to be a really ambitious project. I know that I'm putting all my heart and soul and money into it, my own funding, my own money, and I could lose it all if it fails. But I've got to be able to look back on this point in my life when I'm older and say I tried. I don't want to just continue to do the same YouTube thing.
No, and it's a funny thing. When last year I began making sort of my pivot to the kind of content I'm doing now, which is different than it was before. And I notice when I do those sort of hot topic, sort of fucking relevant, momentarily relevant videos, they do better. But I'm even seeing that, it's not the kind of thing I'm not gonna just go back to doing SJW content myself. And it's a funny thing though, because, and I'm sure you're getting it, it's kind of scary when you realize okay, I built up this audience who loves this thing that I'm doing, and now I'm going to pivot and do something different. And we've seen time and time again, I mean, that guy with the glasses is a great example. If you decide you're going to just try and do something entirely different than what you've been doing, if you fuck it up, you're done.
Nostalgia Critic, I still enjoyed his stuff, but when he started doing more and more of the sketches,
which were pretty bad,
which some of them were really bad. Some of them were really funny, but some of them he was hit or miss, right?
Yeah, and well, it was the consistency wasn't there to really hold it together.
Right, and because of his production too, it often took him a lot longer to do a video than in the old days when he would just sit in front of a camera and react to different scenes from movies. When he bought the big warehouse and they turned it into their studio, the mistake he made was he didn't actually create sets. He was filming in the studio with all the rooms and the bathrooms and all that stuff. And it was like, this is kind of boring. I don't know if he was going for like a Clerks thing or something.
It kind of seemed that way, huh?
But, and then, he added these real cheesy effects to him that were just like crappy overlays. Now, that was ambitious for the time because technology's gotten a lot better since he tried all that stuff, but he didn't learn with the technology.
Yeah.
I want this to be like, when people are watching this, I want people to be like, okay, it's a little cheesy. It's obviously not the budget of like Lord of the Rings or even Game of Thrones.
But like a BBC sitcom.
Right, but they're still watching it going, there's nothing to break me from this world, though. Everybody's dressed like they should be dressed. There's no, all of a sudden, it's not a Monty Python thing where like all of a sudden in this medieval world, there's a car and the police show up and arrest the fucking knight.
Yeah.
Like that fourth wall stuff, the only people who break the fourth wall in the show are going to be Magog and Beardy. Like, that's it. And they're not going to break the fourth wall all the time like Deadpool does, but it's going to be in there sometimes in real subtle ways, like something so insane will happen that Magog's only reaction is to like only turn the camera, like, hello audience, help me. Type of look.
The Jim from the Office moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I do want to parody different shows in a medieval world. So like one episode, there's actually going to be like a crime in the town and Magog has to solve it like a CSI guy. and he's going to start acting like a pompous asshole because they asked him to solve the crime. And then he's going to go and look at the body and all of a sudden he's going to be like, looks like he really lost his head.
Camera while you're doing that. And then like the other characters is just like, who are you talking to?
Right? Like Magog does the pose and he hears this music in his head, but then it cuts to the point of view of the other people standing there. And he's just like, he's looking off in the distance with his hand up like he's got sunglasses on, and they're all like,
or just a quick cut away, cut away to the body and then back to Magog. He's got sunglasses and he takes them down. Everyone's like, where'd you get those?
What are those things? They're my own design, and they're made of wood. God,
no, they're the hipster Buddy Holly sunglasses where it's like the wood frames.
Right.
It's like they look a little pretentious. Yeah, I know.
For some reason, when I put them on, I want a latte. What's a latte? Oh, for fuck's sake!
I don't know. It's the strangest thing.
But I mean, it's little things like that I
put
think
my skinny robes on today.
Right? But those are the little things that are going to make the show. But what really ties it all together is an overarching narrative.
Well, dude, what's really going to carry the show is going to be like your character and your the what you bring with that, because people will tune in. People will be tuning in to see Magog. That's what they're going to want. And I'm not saying like even like YouTube Magog. It's just going to be like it's your character, it's your performance. That's what's going to bring them. And as long as like as long as you don't J.J. Abrams that shit, meaning like, you set up a whole bunch of things and then just abandon them and let your audience down, you should be fine.
Right.
Lost was a good show until you fucked it up.
No, I should probably do an episode because I want to make fun of everybody, but do it in a medieval way. So I really should do an episode where like Magog's in some sort of magical fairy land, like he gets transported there, or maybe there's a place inside the deep dark forest that is like a place for fairies, and him and Beardy walk in on their quest or whatever, and there's fairies flying around everywhere, but just constant lens flares, and he's just like, "What the fuck is going on in this place?" And Beardy's like, "So I'm blind," There's just lens flares everywhere, just to poke fun at some of the Hollywood stuff.
I actually just got him. I just had a notion in my head. It's like Beardy and Magog are like in a horse-drawn wagon, and they're going along, and then the wagon just randomly like tips over, falls over, and everybody wakes up, and then it's like a 3-part parody of Lost, where a whole bunch of like plot devices are set up, and then you never touch them again.
Right.
It's like.
This almost feels like one of those television shows in which the writer's strike completely fucked it. Oh well, we'll be fine. Is that a fucking smoke monster? What's that about? Oh, no one cares. We'll forget about it in an episode or two. It'll be fine.
I'd love to do one where it's just kind of like get all the patrons to show up in their best medieval garb and their swords that are fake, but they look real, those rubber ones they use for LARPing, and actually have like a huge epic battle that's about to happen, and everybody's like running at each other. It's like, like some Braveheart shit, And it's like 500 of my fans all in a field running at each other, and it's the big build-up, and then it fucking ends. And then the next season, the first episode, people are like waiting to see what happened at the Battle of Grimscar, and fucking Magog comes on screen. He's like, "That was an epic battle. That was filled with blood and horror." And we're moving on.
Meanwhile, the patrons are just walking behind him, like back to their cars.
That was crazy. So many dead.
Like that's funny. It would probably piss the fans off to do something like that, so I'd have to eventually show it. I'd have to eventually show it. But
God, here's a fun thing that you do is just as a special sort of episode, like special bonus track as it was. You just get footage of Magog invading an SCA event. SCA? Society for Creative Anachronism. It's like the most serious Ren Fair LARPer thing there is. And they're pretty dope. I mean, like, if you want to get into the battle, you have to have a title of some kind, and you also have to build your own armor to spec.
So they like take their shit seriously, like the Civil War reenactor guys.
A bit, except it's a bit more like it's like you'll see some people there who are like, playing fantasy like they're just LARPing as a wizard or something. But it's like you got like legit blacksmiths on site. Dinner is like if you're just attending as a peasant and you only bought like a peasant ticket, you basically like they'll give you like a bowl of chowder,
right,
and that's it. And you gotta like, there's no tables. You just like one time I went there, I sat in the dirt and I ate like fucking ruddy ass stew, and that was dinner. It's like, hey, that's what you paid for. The nobles who get to dress nice and who get to like look nice and have fun, they get to go inside to this lodge and sit, and there's ranks and shit. But yeah, just Magog just bombs into an SCA fair. Go to a Ren fair, like.
What is shit? You do this for fun. This is how I live.
Is anybody else hearing that?
Yeah, I heard it.
That ominous. Fuck, it's thunderstorming right now.
Yeah.
Oh, here come the tornadoes. Goddamn Arkansas, man. Sometimes the thunder here is so loud it sets off the car alarms in the parking lot. Like, that's when you know it's real on top of you, man. It starts hailing and shit, Hey, Matt.
What's going on?
Yeah, this is just a bullshit stream, so I just thought I'd fucking throw the link at you, even though I don't know how long they'll go, if people are enjoying themselves or not. Me and Nick just started talking about the show I want to do, and I just got into it, and now I'm probably boring my chat.
I actually told Matt. I think I told Matt recently. I know I've talked about it because I talked about it with a number of people, but I've actually been saying like the shit you and Beardy do is like the shit that I would like to see be what the future of fucking YouTube comedy is like.
Well, eventually, if the show gets off the ground, what I would like to do is at least do medieval versions of all my favorite YouTubers that I've made friends with. Love to have Matt down. Love to have you down. Love to have Jeff Holiday down. And everybody's like in medieval gear. And they're like part of the world, but they're like these like one-off like cameos. I would love that just for the YouTube fans. Like some people might start watching the show once it hits the main website, and it's like they didn't know I was on YouTube before or something. They'll be like, "Who are these guys?" But the people who know, that would be great.
Marcus comes over from Scotland. He's like, what happened to you? What happened to you? I trained my direwolf to be a fucking orc.
I'd love to have Matt just like the crazy town drunk, just
It's my fucking job, man.
fucking,
Yeah, that, I'm like, have we
dancing like that video he did?
Oh, I was really fucking hammered on that video. That was.
Oh, he was saying like Magog was saying he's like, yeah, I'm gonna try and get to VidCon, but I'll need to have my own place to crash, and all I could think of was like, oh yeah, I imagine Matt probably had that same feeling after he checked out of the hotel room I left an absolute wreck.
Drunk bastard.
Well, no, I mean it was more like I was gonna clean up the hotel room, and then I was like, no, I paid a lot of fucking money to be here.
Yeah, no,
like.
Fuck
Their
it.
breakfast was shit. It was. Did you go down and get the breakfast at all? It was just like.
Yeah, it's your standard fucking hotel incontinental breakfast, which means like, wow, why did I eat that? I need to take a shit all of a sudden. I don't think it was real food anymore.
What really cracked me up about that was the breakfast at the Ramada by Disneyland was like just a little bit worse than the breakfast at the fucking resort in Arizona, just in terms of like, you had fresh fruit. That was the difference. But otherwise it was like a lot of pastries. It was pretty funny.
That's a continental breakfast. That's all it is donuts and fucking powdered fucking eggs.
I'm trying to cut out that shit.
Little boxes of cereal. I stayed at a hotel one time that the continental breakfast didn't even give us the little boxes of cereal. It was like a bowl of cornflakes, and you scooped them out with a spoon, like into your bowl. Like y'all couldn't even get us the little boxes. Like I have to go over there with a salad spoon and fucking put cornflakes in my bowl, one scoop at a time.
I stayed at a place in Seaside, Oregon, where they didn't have, their continental breakfast sucked. But at 5 p.m. they had free beer.
What? Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah. I had that.
No.
I'm sorry. No. I experienced that when I was with the union, because I was at a Marriott extended stay that I was pretty much living at, and yeah, like some point in like the like late afternoon, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, we have got like, it's like a little buffet and there's free beer and you can come down." I'm like, what the fuck? Why wasn't I not? Why did you not tell me this upon checking in? I've been here for almost a month now.
Let's talk about something we all experienced now. Let's shift gears. I'm over here like I didn't go to VidCon last year.
Well, you can go to this one, Magog.
Oh yeah, I plan to. I really do want to go.
You've got about 34 days.
Yeah, I've got to nail it down if I'm gonna go. I'm probably gonna buy my plane tickets next week.
And I'm pretty certain that that Nick here needs a roomie.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So I'm just look. Hey, call me Fiddler. Call me Fiddler.
He's rooming on his. He'll be rooming on his own, but
yeah, like
I'm just gonna tell you. I think that's a horrible idea. I think you need to be with your friends.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like you guys, like I love you guys, but I even people that I love in my life, I get tired of. Like I'm gonna be at the party, and eventually, like I'm gonna be the life of the party the first like 5 hours, and then after that, suddenly you'll see me change, and I'll go into like serious Iraq Jeremy mode, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, I'm gonna go back to my hotel and be alone. Why? You all are getting on my fucking nerves, and it's not you. But eventually, I do just get wore out, and I'm
no. See, I that happens to me too. That happened to me last year, where like I kind of like hit this wall one night. I was just tired, so we were at Bunty's, and I walked over and like sat down on the on like the fucking pool seat, whatever the hell it's called. It was like a recliner out there, or like a chair, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah,
and then later on, I heard like I think Failure say something on the lines of like, oh yeah, he like walked off by himself for a while. Like, I don't know why I did that. And I'm like, because there was like 40, it felt like there was like 40 people in that house. I mean, there's only like maybe like 25, but like, it's a lot of fucking people, you know?
Well,
One of
that
them
and
was fucking Liz Reptile. That didn't help.
I always put so much energy into the first few hours of like a get together, a party, barbecue, Super Bowl party. It doesn't matter what it is. I put so much energy. Like I'm talking to everybody, I'm going around, I'm having conversations, I'm making people laugh. And then after that first like 3 hours, I've put so much energy into the last half of the party is just me sitting out back like a proper redneck with a beer in my hand going, yep.
Actually, see, that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. I formally invited Boogie to dinner because one of the things I'm not going to the fucking convention, and I found like there's a proper sushi grade fish market within a half an hour of Anaheim, like where we normally end up staying. And yeah, my thinking is like, yeah, I'm just gonna stream making some fucking dope ass food for a bunch of people, and then like get everybody fat, and it'll be great.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. And I think when I was on Matt's channel and was on with Chris Raygun and Failure and Andy, it was decided that we're going to have to hit up medieval times.
I think that was definitely a discussion.
Yeah, that's we found out that there was a medieval times like right there in Anaheim. So it's like, fuck yeah, I ain't been to medieval times since I was like 9 years old, and that was down in Dallas. Like, I just want to be able to say Magog came to medieval times.
Yeah, it's
in our world.
Not only that, like get you like you go in costume, just so like there could be a handful of pictures of just like this happened. This fucking happened.
They have like Matt and Nick on each side of me, and they're all like, "Woo!" And Magog just, I didn't come on vacation to experience home. Like
I'm like that American that goes to McDonald's when they're in Egypt.
Right.
My favorite part of visiting the pyramids was the pizza nearby.
Dude, do you know directly across from the Great Pyramid is a fucking KFC?
Yep.
Eat that.
They figured out how to make.
Isn't one of the pyramids now a Bass Pro Shop?
Memphis Pyramid is, yes.
Yeah. It's fucking
Cabela's.
It is the largest Bass Pro Shop in the world because it's inside of the Memphis Pyramid. They bought it. They bought the Memphis Pyramid, and it's the big glass pyramid in Memphis. And that used to be like, it was a museum. It was an it was an art gallery, and they hosted all kinds of different things. Different exhibitions would come through. We went there when I was a kid. We went on multiple field trips because it's only 2 hours away from where I live, and shit, man, I went and saw the Titanic fucking exhibit there with all the fucking relics and shit from the Titanic. And now it's a goddamn Bass Pro. Not that I'm complaining. I love Bass Pro, but do I really need a Bass Pro with an escalator in it? Like, no, I don't think so. Is that really necessary? How much fishing shit do y'all have? But it is a cool Bass Pro. I've been once with my parents because when it opened, we were like, got to see this, because the biggest one before that one opened was in Branson, Missouri. And that one is only like 3 or 4 hours away. It's up on the border of Missouri and Arkansas. And that was a big ass fucking Bass Pro, but then they bought the Memphis Pyramid, and it's like, people just want to go to the biggest things. That's what they want to do.
Oh, that's legitimately in Tennessee.
Like what?
This pyramid is
the Memphis Tennessee pyramid.
I was okay when I first saw this fucking photo. It was right when I was like balls deep in Assassin's Creed Origins, and I just like my brain and keep in mind I was like leading up to having a kid, so my brain was just fucking gone. And I'm all like, I saw this picture, I'm like, man, they converted a fucking pyramid in Egypt to fucking Bass Pro Shop, like. How the fuck does that even work?
Memphis is named after the Memphis of Egypt.
I know, but like I said, I was balls deep in that video game. So my brain just immediately connected the two, like as if this is a real thing.
No video game should do that to you, Matt.
No, it was. I mean, like now that I know that I've been lied to by my own brain, I clearly realize I need more sleep.
Yeah, you can only hate yourself. Fallen by Gravity says, I am Egyptian, and you'd be amazed how right you are. So yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Like all the fucking like world like sightseeing, things that are like the great wonders of the world, they've all become tourist traps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember going to Stonehenge when I was in England and I really wanted to see Stonehenge. And it was supposed to be these mystical pagan stones in the middle of this fucking field of beauty. And I got there and they built a fucking highway around it with a big fucking souvenir shop and all kinds of shit. And you show up to it and there's like chains around it and like there's like a restaurant over there. And you're like, this isn't mystical at all. I thought I'd have to walk a mile to get to it. I thought they'd at least leave it out somewhere. No, they built a fucking highway right next to it, man. So you're sitting there staring at these mystical stones, and all you hear is trucks going. No.
Yeah, have you ever seen An Idiot Abroad?
Can't say that I have.
Oh, Ricky! It was Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant. They produced this show where they sent Carl Pilkington, their buddy, who's the biggest knob in England. Apparently, he doesn't want to travel. He doesn't want to do anything. And they just send him around the world and like have him just give his like shitty, depressed English perspective on shit. And when he got to the pyramids, he's like, "Hey, it's fucking rubbish. Literally, there's just trash blowing around in the winds, and there's a Pizza Hut. I'm gonna go over to the Pizza Hut now. This feels a bit better now. Yeah, I like this. This feels like the real world."
That's why the list of things that I want to see in my life don't involve like the big touristy things. I want to go to those weird places that hardly anybody knows about.
Yeah.
Like I did research of like American like road trip ideas. And there was this one, these people had collected all the weird and unusual places in our country that aren't typical on like the tourist trail. And it was like, there's like a town in Oregon or Michigan, one of the two, I'd have to look it up again, that is considered the troll capital of the United States.
Define troll.
Like actual trolls, like little lawn ornament guys. Like, apparently there was like this guy there who was a wood whittler. And he fucking make these little wooden trolls. And he did it for like 80 years. And the only people he sold to was the local town. And so they're under bridges. They're like under stop signs. People just started putting them all over fucking town because they were buying so many of them to keep this guy, like his business going because they felt bad for him or something.
It's in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. That's yeah.
Have you ever heard of Toynbee tiles? These things, they're in like major cities, and I've found a number of them, and nobody's entirely certain who's behind them, but I mean, just the TOYNBE, and they're these handmade like artisan tiles that say some weird shit like about like when the sun sets on Jupiter or some weird ass shit like that, like really esoteric fucking weirdness, and somehow they get planted into the corners of major cities' sidewalks, like in the cement. Someone shows up, carves out this piece where this brick fits. They fit the brick in, and then they just put like masonry over it and seal it in there. And they're in, like, they started in Philly, they're in New York, Boston, fucking Tokyo. They're like all around the world, and they all say the same thing, and no one's entirely certain what it fucking means.
Yeah, I like weird shit like that. Like some what is it? Monchichi in the chat says gnome. No, these are trolls. Like they're gnarly looking. They're not the little pointy hair, like the pointy hatted bearded fucks that you buy at Walmart. These are gnarly looking little wood dudes. But anyway, another one I want to visit in America is Roanoke Island, North Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah, me too.
That's not only the site of the vanished village, the mystery of the fucking vanished village, but it's also where the oldest cultivated grapevine in America is still alive. They still make wine out of it. Yeah. It's like it's an 800-year-old grapevine that was brought over from Italy. And so like it was still alive, even made it through the fucking seas, and whoever came over to start a vineyard in North Carolina back in the fucking colonial days fucking brought it with them. and it lived and continued to live, and it's where the oldest living grapevine is in America.
I want to drink that wine.
I know, right? Just to say you did, it's probably not even good, but you're like, it's 800-year-old grapevine. You know,
well, that's the weird thing when it comes to like travel like that. One of my when I was a beer and liquor critic, the booze writing I did, I got to go to I got sent to Nashville, and I got to tour the George Dickel distillery. And it's funny the kind of shit that you find is really what you're into, because as much as I love whiskey, drinking that Tennessee fucking holler limestone water, like spring water. I never had water that I was like, give me more of this, please give me more. It's so good. And it's like in the, it was like an hour or two outside of Nashville, so it's like deep country Tennessee. And I'm just it's like you're at this like old ass distillery that's been modified and all this, but then you get to try the water raw, and you're like, I did not see this joy coming. How is this so amazing to me?
You know,
just water.
You know what would be an amazing YouTube thing to do? Get all our YouTube buddies together for Halloween and meet in Hell, Michigan. There's a town in Michigan called Hell, and they have the badass Halloween parties every year because they're Hell, Michigan. It's literally just the town's name is Hell. We can all bring our live streaming equipment and just be like, we went to Hell for Halloween.
360 camera,
right?
With audio. With audio.
Man.
I'll complain that there's just not enough degrees.
Here's an interesting one right here in Arkansas. There was a French businessman about 8 years ago who came over to Arkansas to do some business, probably Walmart. And he really fell in love with the Ozarks, the mountains up in North Arkansas and stuff, and really fell in love with the countryside. But he decided, because he was doing business and everything, he decided to move to the Arkansas-Missouri border area, right up in North Arkansas. He moved to the Ozarks, and he really loved it here, but he hated the fact that we had no real history because he came from France. So he decided to build a castle the classic way. He hired 20 people. They had to wear tunics. They had to do blacksmithing the old-fashioned way.
I've seen that on.
Yeah,
I think I've seen that on. It was some TV show.
It was a TV show with Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah,
that's where I found out about it, actually, even though I live in the state, never heard of it. But apparently the project never got finished because it was going to take 20 years because all he had was peasants. They couldn't use modern machinery or anything. They had to build it the old-fashioned way. And he ran out of money or something. So now it's just sitting up there, unfinished.
Waiting for you.
Ruin of a castle. Just
I'm like, is this what gave you the idea? Do you have wet dreams about that castle?
No, him.
The show will get big enough, and you'll buy the land off the guy, and then you'll just employ your own peasants who you'll use modern machinery.
Maybe I'll finish it. But if he had let him have a bulldozer, they could have been finished in a year, and he could have opened it up because he originally wanted to open it up as an attraction. People could get married there. He'd host Ren fairs there and stuff like that.
Okay, you know what it was? It was NPR, remember? NPR had a whole show about a man's home as his castle. So they actually went and found people who bought and live in castles. And they're by and large, you need to be stupid rich to afford the upkeep because these things are drafty. They're not very climate friendly.
Yeah, they're not good for electricity either.
Yeah, they grow mold.
Yeah, it gets so damp. Running electricity in them is fucking terrible.
Yeah. So it's and they found you can dream of living in a castle all you like, but it seems to universally be a bigger nightmare than anyone.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. Matt was busy doing his history, but people are really drawn to the fantasy worlds and the Ren fairs and stuff like that. And I've been to Ren fairs and I have a good time and everything, but I come back to reality even after doing my show as much as I love it. Because here's the reality of it. I've heard people at these Ren fairs say it was such a better time. I wish I could live in medieval times. Why the fuck would you want that? They have like this romantic view in their head of what medieval times was, like knights in shining armor and beautiful princesses. It wasn't like that. People died every day.
It's like,
Like, you know,
the old west the old west. It's a similar thing. It's,
romanticized. Yeah, it is. That's a
Yeah, I
whole
mean-
fucking time period to live.
well, it's weird. I mean, like you watch. It was funny because Gangs of New York is praised as being pretty like time period authentic in many ways. And one of the
Right.
ways that I found it really was like the cheapness of life. Like even a person like the value they place on their own life. Because you were so used to like the notion that I could get killed by anything. I could get killed by like not changing my fucking socks or something.
Right.
And it gets to that point where it's like I remember there was a scene in Gangs of New York where they're like they arrested and had a handful of people that were just going to be hanged for no reason. And they were getting assurances like, oh, your family will be taken care of, you'll be fine. It's like, oh, well, yeah, well, I mean, I guess I was bound to die sooner or later, so
Right.
the fuck, might as well make it this way. Like, what the fuck? I know if like someone's like, hey, we're gonna hang you to make a point in public, I'll be like, no, you're fucking not. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm important, don't you know? Like my life matters to some people. They're just like, oh yeah, well no, I've got a child, so I might as well just let these people kill me so that I can make sure that they'll be fed. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No, people often forget how bad it wasn't. And the Tammany Hall era of New York was especially awful.
But it was such a better time. I was born in the wrong era. I should have been born in the 70s when all the rock music and the AIDS was going around. Huh?
Yeah. There's no better time than the now, honestly. I mean, look at like what Matt was talking about earlier. We have video games now that blow up my mind. Like, I remember getting a Nintendo 64 and going, this is the end. This is the end. Video games will never be any better than this.
GoldenEye. How are they ever going to top that in terms of shooting?
Right? It's like, I had no idea that just 12 short years later, I'd be running around Skyrim, fucking slaughtering dragons in a fucking world that was like actually like 12 real miles long. Like,
Yeah.
like,
And then you're there. Not only that, like a few years after that, like you play a few other games and you're watching the NPCs and you're like, God damn, these things look like fucking dolls. They're terrible. They don't look real at all
you
anymore.
play a modern game like Matt was playing the Assassin's Creed in like Egypt or whatever, and it was like, dude's running around fucking ancient Egypt or whatever. It's like, how cool is that? You don't have that in medieval times. Why the fuck would you want to? You know what people did for fun in medieval times? Worked.
It didn't die. They avoided dying.
They literally sat down every night to dinner going, thank you, Lord, for not killing us today. Let's hope tomorrow is better.
Well, see, I mean, like ancient times too. I mean, like I'm a big fan of Diogenes. You familiar with the Diogenes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like he got shifted around a whole bunch, sold into slavery, whatever, and that was his attitude. Was like, well, what the fuck ever, I don't give a shit. And then there's a story where he was in this town, and the word came that a foreign army was going to be marching on the town and sack it, and apparently this had happened many, many times. And so Diogenes, like his response was just to push the jar he lived in, up and down a hill. And when the governor asked him, what are you doing? He said, I just wanted to make sure I was being as helpful as everybody else around here. And it's like, that was commonplace. It's like, oh God, a foreign army is going to march on our town again and slaughter our people again and take all our shit again.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, I think the reason why we have such like political and social divide in this country is people, like you said earlier, forgotten the tiger. They've forgotten what it was like to. We live in such a comfortable society for the most part. I mean, yeah, there's still a slight chance you get mugged or raped or murdered if you live in a bad area or some shit just happens to you. But for the most part, most people, even the poorest people walking around America, don't know what it's like to fucking run from a predator.
In a society.
We
You know?
live in this
So,
society.
so are you basically saying, Magog, that we need to bring back the gladiatorial games?
I wouldn't say no to that to a certain extent, but at the same time, no. I'm just simply stating people have forgotten that, and they need to fucking get some perspective. Like spending 9 months in Iraq, showering in a fucking box this big and shitting in a fucking hole in the ground. When I got back and had running water and television and internet and all that stuff, I was like, man, people have really lost perspective. Really take advantage of what they have.
I think Random Cam said it best, and I've fucking plagiarized him to the ends of the earth on this on this one quote where he says that ours is the first generation to suffer from the burdens of excess rather than the burdens of scarcity.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, people have enough luxury to sit around and get like pissed off and offended and upset about the fact that like someone didn't call them the made-up word that they really wanted to be called, or that, you know, they're like, oh well, I fell out of my mother's cunt a particular color. I deserve a country of my own for that. Like, wow,
Yeah.
you need some tigers chasing you is what you need.
Yeah, I think that's why there's also a huge movement of people kind of going back to, like, I want to do man things. I want to go out and chop wood and live and learn how to hunt. Like Joe Rogan talks about that all the time when he finally learned how to hunt and clean an animal and you know actually like process the meat properly and all that stuff. It like gave him a whole new perspective on life because his ancestors literally had to do that every fucking day.
That's kind of like that's a you know, kind of big goal I've had is like I want to hunt and kill and prepare my own dinner one time. Like I don't give a fuck. I mean, fuck it. If I got to take down a raccoon with a goddamn recurve bow from Walmart, fine. You know? But I want to kill a motherfucker, and I want to skin the thing, and I want to use as much of its parts as I can, and do it all correctly. I was supposed to. We had a plan when I lived in New Orleans. We were actually going to go out to East Texas because you probably know like boar are just a pest.
Yeah, they literally don't. You don't need to have a license to hunt boar.
Oh, there are
You
some.
can just go and shoot them.
Yeah, there are ranchers who will like feed you and like, you know, they'll be like, yeah, if you want to fucking try and take down some of these goddamn pigs, come around. I'll like give you lunch.
Problem with that is be very fucking careful. Be very fucking careful.
Oh, they are, yeah.
No, for two reasons. One, boar will kill you.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
two, even if you kill a boar, if you don't cook it properly, you will die.
So what you're saying is it will bore you to death?
Yes.
Speaking of which, Matt, perfect opportunity. Do you want to show $3 theater real quick?
Oh, still pulls in more viewers than what you have.
Oh, shots fired. Welcome to Jeremy's Kumite. Finally got Nick on the Kumite.
I saw fucking Wang hit 50K recently. And I'm like, what the motherfucker, good for you, dude. Because like when I first came across him, which was like 6 months ago, he was like down around like 10,000 or something.
Yeah, he I followed a bit of his stuff recently. I like the guy. I like his content. He's one of the things you have to remember though is he covers like the kind of stuff he covers is socially relevant to what we do. Right. So look at remember Wild Spartans from VidCon last year?
Vaguely.
He was kind of like the pudgy blonde kid.
Oh yeah.
You're asking me to remember like
No, you're pretty hammered.
Yeah. I was pretty hammered.
He was over at Bunty's house. He's a good dude. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He wanted to hit like 100,000 subs by like the end of last year. So we started really heavily covering like YouTuber drama. I mean, like heavily covering it. And he fucking blew up to like over 160 by I think before the end of the year or something. Damn. Like he blew up. Now his content lately hasn't been covering that kind of stuff because there hasn't been as much of it, I think. But
dude, I mean, no, it was like what was it? Mouthy Buddha. I remember like when I first found his channel. It was like, and it was a similar thing that happened even with Kraut and T. Because when I first found Kraut and T, I had like 3,000 subs. He was in my sub list. He had like barely 1,200, and then it was just a couple like streams, and then he blew up. And it was funny because with Mouthy, I remember telling him like, yeah, dude, you'll blow way past my channel within 2 or 3 months, I promise. Because he had like he had like 2/3 of my subscriber list, and then he did, and he's like, what the fuck? I don't understand this, dude. I'm like, man, it's fine, dude.
Pause that thought for a sign. Reverend Satan gives $5. Says, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. It's pretty true. and then to kind of touch on what you guys are talking about, if somebody could cover YouTube drama and make 160,000 subs, the fuck am I doing wrong? Like, I've chosen the hard road apparently because I have like heavy production. I have to spend like hours editing.
It's like it's like I was telling. It's like a
goddamn,
dude. It's the difference between a cultivated audience and a built audience.
Well, of course, I'm posing the question out there. I mean, as a new YouTuber that's now been here for over a year, I hit my year mark in January. I've passed some people that I didn't think I would pass, but growth has been pretty slow. It's been pretty slow.
It's the growth that you're getting though. The audience that you're cultivating. I mean, when I mention you, right? When we mention you on Saints, especially, like because the Saints cult loves you, and they really fucking do. And as you've probably seen, like the Saints cult is very fucking dedicated to what they appreciate. You take that and you compare it to, and I hate to bring the motherfucker up, but like Worski, right? Like the dude, he cashed in and he was hitting all the hot irons as he saw them. But look at how fucking quick those people fucking turned on him. Like, you know,
yeah, but not enough to really matter. Man's he's still got over 50,000 subs or whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean he's got 250,000 subs, and you know that is what it is. But the point there is that like the built audiences, the ones that just flock because of trends, people like striking the hot irons when they see them. That's great, and yeah, they're gonna do fine. But there's nothing lasting to that because the moment that Daddy Jim or something decides he's gonna shit on them, that's the end of them. The right. Audience that they built, they're not dedicated to the content. They're not really dedicated to that content. They're dedicated to the trend. And once the trend shifts, they move with the trend. The dedicated audiences are the ones who, you can tell from your fucking your views, right, of a given average video on your channel. When you see that average pan out and you see those same names in the comments and you see those people really loving what you do, those are the people who are going to support your shit regardless. They will be with you through thick and thin unless you genuinely fuck up, and that's the audience, in my opinion, that people that really matters.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful to my dedicated audience. I'm wondering about the state of growth on YouTube when someone like me can put in so much work and effort and writing scripts and playing a character and all that stuff, but then somebody over there can just be like, did you hear what so-and-so said on their channel today? Oh my God. And then it's like, boom.
The thing is though, even though you have this quick growth, it doesn't always turn into sustainability.
Sure. Yeah. And that's why I said I'm not trying to degrade any of my dedicated fans. And for a small channel, let me put this out there right now. 25,000 subs, or my last video got 18,000 views.
Holy shit.
That's a pretty good watch to sub ratio.
Dude, you are doing better than I am.
Well, you lost subs though. You were ahead of me and staying ahead of me, and then you lost subs. That's the only reason I passed you in sub count.
Well, the view count too. I mean, like message to incels, that video, like that's creeping up on like 8,000 or 9,000 views now, and that's a lot of views for my channel.
Really, I've never checked out your view to watch ratio, but I didn't know it was in the I didn't know it was under 10K for most.
I haven't had a video crack 10K in like 4 or 5 months now. And at this
Matt
point,
has dick.
Have you looked recently? Not as much as you might think.
Well, your streams never get as many views.
No,
And
I mean, I tried doing like I'm doing this one video a day thing on the main channel now, just to kind of like make my life a little bit easier.
sure.
And all things considered, it's like, I made like $10 on yesterday's video. But I could have taken those and made those all individual videos and made $10.
Now, here's something that's weird happened to me, and I'm interested in talking about this. It's been a month since I've uploaded because I had to take a pretty long break to finish my final projects for school, right?
Yeah.
I've never taken a break that long. The only thing I've done while I was in school is I mirrored that collab about Free Dankula, and I've done live streams on my live stream channel. Now, I finally get out of school and do a proper Magog video and come back, right? One thing I noticed, I didn't get demonetized right away. It took a day before it demonetized me automatically, which never happens. Usually it's like demonetized instantly. The moment I hit the upload button, it's fucking, and I got to fight it, right? Which means it takes like 24 hours and most of my views come in, right? So I'm not getting paid shit, right? But this video I uploaded got 16,000 views before it was demonetized. So I made like $53 off of that one video because it actually had time to play ads before they demonetized me. I don't know why that happened. The second thing that happened that is curiosity, it wasn't a collab. It was just a normal Magog video, and yet I gained like 700 subs. I don't know if I just like hit the algorithm just right with the keywords because it was over gender identity. And I guess maybe some people search for that or something, or it was popping up in recommended videos or something. But man, it just came out of nowhere. I thought I'd have to really fight to get my audience to notice I was doing videos again, but apparently not.
No, they've been hungry for your fucking shit for a while. I mean, it's one of those. It's a funny sort of like self-awareness thing. To understand that people genuinely appreciate and value what you do is a weird thing to wrap your head around.
Right.
And in your case, I mean, I'll say without, without even like, any sort of like negative sort of connotation to it. I'd say like I've got a really good audience that's very dedicated to what I do. I'd say you're building and cultivating one of those faster and more effectively because there's more to it. I mean, I'm just offering my thoughts. You're offering production. You are giving them a character. You're giving them a very
world, right?
Yeah, world, and also just like there's a flavor of the humor that you're offering that they really appreciate, and so I'm really not remotely surprised that if you went offline and weren't producing shit for a while and then you did something and it was a big splash, I'm not remotely surprised by that at all.
Yeah, maybe that's all it was I just took a break and came back and everybody's like, hell yeah.
Well,
now, Matt, what did...
Yeah, there's an old thing. Well, I mean, just to throw this out because I'm gonna go take a piss in a moment. But I mean, there's a classic thing of the always leaving wanting more kind of thing.
Right. That's old show business, rhetoric, but it does work, But I don't want to be taking months off at a time just to simulate that.
Nobody else wants to do that.
So it was a one-time thing. Now I'm out of school, but. Go ahead and go piss. I was going to ask Matt something before he goes or whatever. It's probably getting late, but why'd you get a community strike, man?
Oh, yeah. So, let me take you back.
He got his sultry voice out, everybody.
Oh, yeah. June 20th, 2012, nearly 6 years ago, a little video popped up on the interwebs. 37 seconds long, safe for work trailer for the porn of Octomom.
Okay.
So I sat there, thought this would be funny to comment on. So I pulled out my phone, and only my phone, because that woman is not attractive. And I just recorded like a minute 57 commentary about the thing. While showing it. It was safe for work. There was no sex. She's just kind of gripping her chest, and you're like, it's disgusting. It's like a Stan Winston fucking model, And it's just like, that's it. That's fucking it. And 90 days can't stream.
So you got hit on a video from 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Yeah.
Jesus, boy, that doesn't make any fucking sense, man. Is that the algorithm? Is that somebody out for you?
No, that's someone
Like-
out for me.
Like, but why flag that video?
They were looking for something they could use. You couldn't flag any of my current videos for the past like 4 years, 5 years probably.
Right, because they're pretty safe, you know.
Yeah,
Like,
they're pretty safe. They're and pardon the terminology here, okay, kiddos, but they're mundane. All right.
yeah,
Like,
but
let's just drop the word. It's on everyone's tongue. But
here's
yeah,
what
no.
I don't. Then, like, because I thought people did this, and this is what I plan on doing. After a video's been up for a year, I plan on archiving it and just like keeping my page nice and clean. Why did you still have videos from 6 fucking years ago?
Because here's the thing: if you sit there and get rid of those videos, it will destroy your channel.
Yeah.
YouTube, the algorithm looks at it as a deficit, and if you create a deficit, it basically goes like, I don't know what to do. It's like your drunk, retarded uncle. It just runs around, and then it will basically find a way to fuck you.
Oh, that's
Also,
weird.
too, I mean, new dedicated fans I've found they love going through like the
Oh yeah, I talked to a guy the other day that's like, I spent the last like 4 months going through all your videos, and
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, I'm like, you mean like the last like couple of them? He's like, no, I've gone back to like the beginning and just started listening, and I'm all like,
Wow.
thank you, I appreciate that, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, why
Okay.
subject yourself to the torture?
Well, it's funny as fuck too, because like I'm like when I get people who like I was like I fucking threw a bant towards Sinatra says, right? Because fuck that kid. And it was funny because like the jokes like the bants people were trying to throw at me were like getting really fucking stale. And one of them like, oh yeah, well you're always drinking alcohol, huh? And it was funny because I've been a lot more sober lately than I've been in the past. And that was actually because of the Ranting Griffin. After we had him on Saints, he hit me up. He's like, so I actually watched like your backlog of videos and shit. And you do a lot better sober. And that was a big reason I've been more sober than I've been recently.
Yeah, when that guy was like, "You drink a lot," you should have just been like, "Am I supposed to be insulted by the truth?"
Well, no, someone's like, and I love that one. I love that line though. It's like, it's just like, oh, well, maybe your channel would be growing more if you weren't like fucking all your subscribers. And I'm just like, well, I'm up to 6 now. So,
So Matt now has to fucking stream on $3 Theater, which I know you prefer anyway.
Yeah, well, I've been doing. The problem with that is though, because
because of the strike, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about how I got it, and it was really lame. No, I do like doing the streaming. The problem is that like, because it's basically I've been transitioning $3 Theater to take over to become my primary source of income, and it already has, because of the way YouTube's in recently. Like if I stream and I record the content in front of the audience and then clip it out and upload it, that's fine. But because of the algorithm, I can't post the actual stream.
Right.
So it's kind of like, what's the fucking point? You know?
Right.
So it's like, that's kind of where I'm at. So I've been doing that, and I'm like, well, maybe I'll just stop doing that, because it's in, I mean, it's not to say that I'm not thankful people are watching, but I can't share it because it's going to negatively impact everything else.
Right.
And that's the problem with the algorithm. So it's kind of like I'm doing like those murder mystery streams. I just, like look into a cold case, and like, that's all going to be that channel. Like, that's just all I'm going to do.
Right.
But yeah, that's the problem with the way YouTube operates, is like, you have to have a channel that's just dedicated to live streams. And then from that, you have to have a channel that's dedicated to clips from those live streams. Right.
Yeah, that's a growing trend, and even I'm guilty of that. I started a live stream channel just so that my normal fans on my main channel don't have to put up with sifting through 2-hour side quests and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like that.
no, totally. I mean, that's the whole point, is like, and even then, your side quest should be its own channel.
Maybe. I mean, I've thought about that, but I don't want people to have to subscribe all over again just for the side quest, especially when I don't even know if that show is actually going to last long or not. I mean, I work
true. I get that,
really hard on that, but I also depend on co-hosts.
Having that channel though is pretty fucking valuable. And because even if like I've got a gaming channel, Monkey with a Shotgun, right? And I haven't done fucking anything with it Not really, because I've been focusing more on my own channel and on Saints. But even with that, like, I've realized recently, like, okay, that's a backup channel for me. Like that, like if I want, from time to time, I'll come up with a shit post that I'll just really want to produce, and I'll be like, I can't put this on my channel because people come to my channel for like more cerebral shit. Wait a second, hang on. I can shit post on this other channel. Fuck being a gaming channel. I can just go there and talk about Doctor Who and whatever the fuck else I want. And just having that is invaluable.
Yeah, I even though
they force you to diversify in a way that's just really inconvenient.
But I don't know why, because it really doesn't help them. Because they just demonetize everything anyway. Nobody's making, at least on our side of things. I don't know if that's working for like other genres, but they're not making much money off of our genre. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure ContraPoints is fucking cleaning up these days because she's been growing like crazy. And
well, the money at this point is coming from the super chats, and I'll tell you this: running the streams that I run, I don't really make any money in super chats on there. Don't quite know. Like, I don't like shilling it. I feel really bad shilling it, but it's like at the same time, I have an audience that will follow me from stream to stream. They follow me from different channels. They come into the Discord, and they're a lot of the same people. And I don't want to, like, that's really cool. I'm really happy about that. But then I go like, well, I still have to kind of like make the joke to pimp it. But then again, like, when I kind of stopped doing it a little bit, like when Bering made that video against me, and like there was one guy in the chat who came in the chat every night, right? And like he's donated before, and he's been part of, like, he's in the Discord, he's gone around, and he's like, oh, I just won $200 at the casino. And then I'm like, oh, streamlabs.com/mundane Matt, wink, like just played it up a little bit, and then Bering clipped it with like not any knowledge of what exactly it was, and then put it in his video, kind of like, well, you said you don't care about the money, but then like with the whole hard bastard thing, but then you care about this. And I'm like, but there's context to that, And so to me, the people who are there's context, but then bringing in a new audience that doesn't understand that context is just it's just in the back of my fucking mind now. So it just like, I've just kind of stopped. Like when I'm doing like the one video a day, and I'll do like, oh, like a little splur, like a little thing for Patreon or Amazon. I feel really weird about it. I'm like, I kind of have to, but I'm like, I feel like it's like now I'm just being judged, and like it just gets in your fucking head.
Well, dude, I mean, I've been dealing. It's funny because it's part of the whole human centipede recycled shit jokes thing that's going on with particular portions of this medium. But it's funny. It's like, oh yeah, you're all fucking you bitch about being fucking broke and shit. It's like, yeah, being broke sucks. Oh, you spend all your money on booze. Like, oh, I haven't had a bottle in the apartment in like several months, really. But I mean, it's like eventually, like I try, like when it comes to Saints, like I'm shameless with the shilling of it because I've just turned that into as much of a meme on its own as
you played up like a meme, but it's like you'll definitely play it up like a meme, which works out well for you.
And I don't chill enough.
No, you don't.
I throw in an end credits thing, and while my Patreons are moving, like an end credits, I'm in a little video off to the side inside the magic book going, check out the links below and all that stuff. But it's by the time the credits are rolling, people are clicking off the video. I don't ever put like a beginning. Hey, everybody.
I will say this though. The beginning little ad that I do for Patreon doesn't work as well as you think. But when I do it for, like, let's say Amazon affiliate, actually works out pretty damn well.
Yeah, but I think I'm saving that for when I go to actually raise money for the proper show.
Well, yeah, I think I mean, and you can tell me if you get this too. There is that sort of sense of like imposter syndrome where with my patrons, right? And like I've like reformatted my rewards thing a few times. No one ever wants them. Doesn't matter. Like I'm like, who wants their rewards? And they'll just say, no, don't fuck around with that. Just make more content, please.
Not me. You know how many signed autographed pictures of Magog I've sent out for the $10 and up donators? Jesus.
Well, it's that thing though. It's even there, like they want that shit. It's when you have to sort of wrap your head around the fact that this shit that you're doing, which you're putting your all into it. You really want it to be good, and you really want it to be worthwhile, but you still can't really maybe swallow the notion that people actually give a fuck about what you do. Like it means shit to people.
Yeah.
And when you hear that, and then you're like, you think like, okay, like I can, I can make a living doing this. I can build this sort of thing. I mean, when I got my green screen studio, my whole studio setup, that was bought for me by a subscriber and a patron. And he hits me up after I built my little green screen out of construction paper. He's like, "Hey, do you need a green screen?" I'm like, "Yeah, no, I built my." Yeah, I saw. I'm just gonna send this to you, okay? Like the fuck. Why? Oh well, you ship me, your content like it keeps me going, like gives me some sense of sanity while everything's going fucking nuts. Like, well, I'm not that good. What are you talking? Oh, you must mistake me for somebody else.
Well, you've at least got that dedication. Like I've never had like just a one-off gift of that much, but I tell you this, I hate to be a Debbie Downer at the end of the show because I will have to end it here soon. But because I hear the
It's 4
thunder getting closer, but I don't care about the time personally, but that's just me. Right now I don't have another job and I don't have school, so but before this semester started, I did announce that my GI Bill was coming to an end on a live stream, and I told everybody that if I didn't make it to a certain point on Patreon after the GI Bill was up, I'd have to find a part-time job. Either go back to running my own cleaning business and pick up more contracts or find a Joe Blow job. Now, luckily, I did have a bit of a...
The Uber driver laughing.
He just fucking said, no, he just said the Joe Blow job. So, hey, fuck you. The last time I did Uber was 2 years ago. Last year I was driving Uber Eats. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I was
totally different. He's delivering McDonald's.
They're McDonald's. They're fucking McDonald's.
But I don't mind that. I've always worked. I've worked since I was 16 years old, but I really wanted to dedicate myself to being Magog and to grow the show, to actually properly grow it into the sitcom and build the sets and all that stuff. And I needed a minimum amount of like $1,500 a month on Patreon in order to not get a job. Now that pays all my bills and doesn't leave me with any spending money, but it does at least get me there, but yeah, that I only broke 1,500 once, and that was only for 1 month. And then people, drop some of their patronage. So,
oh, well, the winter always sucks though too. You gotta, yeah. I mean, I learned that recently,
tax season and all that stuff. I get it. But what I'm getting at is I don't think I have the fan base to get me to 2,000 a month.
I make less than 400 a month, and I've got like 8 times your fan base. So it's kind of like, it doesn't matter the size. I'm just telling you, like, it doesn't matter the size at all. Like it's
dedication.
It's a dedication to the audience. Don't get me wrong, like my audience, I have a lot of great people. I'm not bitching about it at all. It's helpful. I'm thankful. But it's like sitting there and comparing it to somebody else of another size. It don't mean shit. Jeff Holiday has got way less than subs than me. Still makes more, like about, I don't know how much, but it still makes more than I do.
Yeah, well, no, I mean that's the weird thing. Yeah, Jeff's still got about Jeff's channel is, I think, I'm at 22 and a half, and he's at like 67. And we make about the same. I mean, it's it's kind of like it's.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about me personally. If I don't get 2,000 a month from either Patreon and Super Chats together or just Patreon alone, I am going to have to go get a job at like Walmart or something. It'll be part-time. I won't quit YouTube altogether, but I won't be able to dedicate my entire life to this like I wanted to.
You've been at this for like about a year now, you said?
Over a year, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been doing I've had my channel for about 4 years now. And I had I was working at the beer shop for a while. I had my column that I was writing. I had a book contract that I was working. So like, it was diversified income and it was working out. But I would say the fact that you have a bigger channel than I have now, yeah, and that you've got probably, I'd say honestly, well, in at least respect to your main channel content, you've got bigger plans than I have.
Right.
I'll say this, dude. Like within like a year from now, you will be just about where you want to be. That's my prognostication.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens because if I can't somehow gain it by probably August, September, my savings will be up. And by the time I move to the new place, because the new place, even though my parents are building it for me because I couldn't get a loan this year, because I applied for a loan and they were like, "You make money on the internet?" No, denied. Right? Like they didn't even, like even though I made plenty of money and I could get a loan and I have like an 830 credit score or whatever, like that, none of that mattered because the moment they figured out how I made my money, they were like, But anyway, I'm still going to have to pay that place, even though my parents are building it for me. I'm paying them. They're going to be my landlords essentially, and it's going to cost the same as this place. The upside is, for the same price, I get a fucking building. I don't, instead of a tiny little apartment. But anyway, by the time I move to that place, my savings will probably be up of what I'm comfortable living off of savings wise. And if I don't have the support, I am going to have to go get a normal job. And I guess that's okay. If that happens, it happens, and we'll cross the bridge when we get to it. But, and I didn't bring it up to like shill for money. I was just making conversation because that's what we were talking about. I mean, a lot of people get on YouTube, and some of the fans oftentimes forget that we are in this to make a living. Try to anyway.
Most of us, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, enough of us, yeah.
I'm not asking to be like wealthy, like and rich and all this and that, but to be able to like pay all my bills and just do this and entertain the people and build a bigger show and raise the money for the bigger show and stuff would be my absolute dream job. If I have to go work at Advanced Auto Parts or fucking Napa or something, I'll do it, but I'm not going to be happy until I can do this and really give my full creative power to my fans. But we'll see what happens. Brockus threw a sign in a while ago, said, "Matt, sit on Magog's lap and call him Daddy Santa." I'm going to shave the fucking beard now.
VidCon is coming.
Well, I like Magog. I like Brock's other Magog working as a Walmart greeter.
Welcome to Walmart. I hate you. Walmart. I hate you.
Get your shit and get out. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for the live show. If you guys want to stick around off air, you can. I'm not necessarily tired, but I'm sure you guys are done. At least being live or whatever. I appreciate you coming by and talking with me, both of you. Everybody, I'm sure everybody watching knows who you are, but if you guys want to shill something, go ahead.
And Nick, you are quite more adept at this than I.
Well, I mean, I would say like two things worth shilling. One, I put the link and I'm going to drop it in there now. Anna Hot Hearts going to be her Dirty 30 next month. The girl's never been outside of the Northeast. So she put herself a campaign together to GoFundMe to try to get her out to VidCon. And it's actually been going pretty good. So if you can get that. And the other thing is that if you're a subscriber to this channel that you're watching now, go fucking throw some shekels at Magog. The dude just said like he's not working just to like get the cash so he can shit post. He wants to build something here, and his kind of content is something that is definitely worth supporting, and I'm sure you all know that already.
I appreciate that, Nick. Matt, you want to say anything?
Check out $3 Theater if you like movies and me talking about movies.
If you like, you sound exhausted, dude. If you like movies,
today I did like my video for the main channel, and then I did a whole fuckload of yard work because where I live, like it rains a lot, and then the sun comes out, and then all the grass grows overnight.
Oh yeah,
so I had to mow half my yard. I got 1.3 acres, so it's a fucking lot of grass.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty wiped out, but I mean, I'm awake. I'm chilling.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming by. Thank you all all my audience, and thanks for just chilling with me tonight. Like I said, it was just a bullshit stream. I'm glad I got to catch up with Nick, and Matt's always a good time to have on. You know, everybody knows I like talking with him. And maybe next time I do a BS stream, I'll invite some other people on. I know there's a list of people who've been wanting to come on again and stream with me again, and I'd love to have them on. I'm just kind of going down the list. I've been promising to hang out and have a proper talk with Nick for like months now. So,
like you. Whoa, that's so weird.
Yeah, it's weird. So anyway, thanks to everybody for coming by, and have a wonderful morning.